She said, "He's crazy." Live yet? Okay, we live. God, God damn! I just logged on. Yo, nah, Kick gotta stop. Kick gotta cut it out. I just started, bro. They already dropped a fake comment. That gotta be stopped. All right, let's see. All right, let's see. Let's see how we rocking and rolling, chat. We just tuned in, baby. I just tuned in, baby. I say I just tuned in, baby. Tap in with the God. Tap in with the God. Word to the Lord. You heard? Tap in with the biggest. I say tap in with the biggest. Cat, stop playing me, man. We out here, we live and direct, full effect. Bullshit top. Welcome to you. Alright, man. So we got to get ready for the game. And ain't playing. It's all about the pain. You can take it. It's all about the game. If you can play it, it's all about the game. I think I had to fix my audio again since I dropped the frames. But we're going to see. Let's just get into a match, B. Straight up. Let me look at my stats real quick, though, for my boy. Skip all that. Yeah, we soon. Man, we soon, chat. I say, chat. Man, we soon, mate. We soon lord this boy. Chat, I said we soon lord this boy. Chat, I said we soon lord this boy. Stop playing with me, man. Fresh off the wake up. I'm about to bake up, chat. Stop playing with me. We finna put numbers on the board first game of the night, you heard? Chat, I say first game of the night. We finna put numbers on the board. We finna put numbers on the board. We got a double. Let's see the team we gonna get, chat. Let's see the team we gonna get. We'll see who we got. Okay, we got Killer B Kill with a good cap. Okay. Yeah, I'm streaming right now. Let me drop my joint in the chat. Hold on. I'm on all streaming platforms, but you know everybody got Twitch. I got Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. But man, let's rock. Let's rock out. You heard? Yo, listen, this is the first game of the night. Let's put a W on the board, man. Let's go, team. Call outs, save lives, and win championships. Heavy on the call outs. You heard him, chat? Oh, shit. Let's go, chat. Oh, shit, I got killed. All right. Let me play my position. Oh, damn, I dropped my phone. Fuck it. We ain't going to pick that up right now. All right, we got to lock in. First game of the night. Let's lock in. Let's lock in, chat. You know the rules is when we play Moon Knight, right? Play the back line and pepper them up. You heard? Like seasoning, baby. Oh, my God. I need better mobility. All right, we over here. Shit, they Emma Frost on my body. Why she running me down? Why she running me down, chat? Like, what's up with her? What I do to her? We don't got no healers? What do you mean we need a healer? I'm about to check right now. Thank you for the heals. I needed that. Let's go, Luna. Let's go apply that pressure on them. Fuck they talking about. W Luna. Yo, take that man out the sky. All right, let's lock in. Let's lock out. We got this, team. Squirrel girl need heals. Squirrel girl, Squirrel girl, get a health pack over there in the corner. Man, I'm doing bad right now, team. Damn, she pushed me. Yeah, I gotta jump. All right. Lock in. God damn, they made it to the second already. What the? Damn, squirrel girl. She hit me. Yo, she hit me with a random nut, bro. That's pause. That sound crazy. Oh my god, they rebuilt the fucking building. Squirrel girl is going crazy over there. We gotta get her out of here. Let's get it. Let's get it, team. Let's push them. Let's push them. We got it. We got him. Keep the push. Keep the push. Let's go, team. Let's go, team. Don't push too far, but let's keep him. Let's keep him on this choke right here. We got him. I see them popping it right now. Peppering them up like steak and eggs. You heard? Pepper them up like steak and eggs. Thank you for the hills. Thank you for the hills. I was begging. I needed that. I'm out of here, Venom. Thank you for the hills. Oh, you're not gonna kill my son, bro. We on your body, Venom. Word of my mother. We on your body, Venom. Call your mans. Come get it back in blood. Yo, take out that heal up top. Oh, yes. Let's go, team. Teeny heal. Somebody heal him up. Let's go, team. On their body. Get the hella. Yo, don't go too far, Scarlet. Come back. Don't go too far. We just gotta keep them back. I got special. I died. Fucking. Let's go, team. I love y'all energy. Let's keep it pushing. Now we gonna get it back. We gonna get it back. I already know y'all. Shit. I'm coming. They think they pushing. They think they gonna push us. Damn, they pushing us. GG's. It was nah. That squirrel girl is dangerous. I just walked out and she hit me. W team though, man. Y'all all still gonna get a thumbs up. We worked hard, play hard. We owe each other another W. See you in the next round. You know me, I gotta drop a little. Thumbs up, guys. All right. Wipe our hands. Let's get a little snack. All right, chat. Look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a little snack, a little drinky drink, not liquor or anything. Just regular drink, like regular juice or some water or something. And then we're gonna get started. How that sound? Yes, sir. Let me go grab a little snack real quick. I'm coming right back. You hear me, chat? You hear me, chat? Coming right back. I'm back, chat. I will grab some grapes real quick, some ubes. Mm-hmm. All right. Leave me alone. I gotta start up. All right, chat. We gotta do better this round. I feel like we was off. Oh, we got people with mics too. Okay, bet this should be a good game if we got people with mics. Oh, snap, chat. We got a couple people with mics. Should be a good game. Let's go, W team. Let's see. Oh, we got a Lord Healer. Can't go wrong with a Lord Healer. Oh, we got two. We got Big Poop Deck with Squirrel Girl. We just lorded Squirrel Girl. We just lorded Squirrel Girl, man. Shout outs to you, man. Shout out to a fellow Squirrel Girl lover. You feel me? She kick butts and eat nuts. And she beat Dr. Doom, Thanos. And what's my son's name? Galactus. She ain't gonna brag though, you feel me? She's the GOAT. You feel me, chat? I ain't gonna front. If I wasn't trying to lord this guy right here, I would have went for another round with Squirrel Girl. I love her, man. My best. They about to nerf her. That's shiesty. W Hills, W Hills. Oh shit! I need to back up. I need to get back up. Let's keep applying that pressure in them hills, them hills, them hills. W Hills, W Hills. Nah, you good, you good. Keep doing your thing, keep doing your thing. Oh shit. Gotta get out of here. Gotta bust moves, gotta get back. We locked in, team. Let's go. We on their body. Oh shit. They Moon Knight is right here. In the front. He in the front. They Moon Knight in the front lines. They got a Namor up top. All right. Let's get it. Oh, I love this team. This team is on it. Communication and everything. Yes, go. Shit. Wait. I'm over here with y'all. You ain't feel. Oh shit, they shooting, they shooting. You want me to get some hills over here up top? Oh shit, they shooting at me. All right, they got that one. I popped Hulk. Beat her up, Hulk. Beat her up, Hulk. Damn. Yep. W team, W team. Let's keep that energy. Ooh, they Moon Knight breached the back line. Thank you, thank you. How many people we down? We down one healer right now. Oh damn, she down for 7 seconds. No, we gotta push. I gotta play my position. Fucking guy. Right, we should have waited. Got killed. Nigga, yeah. Am I on gold yet? Nah, I'm not on gold yet, bro. I'm not on gold yet. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not on gold yet. It be taking too long to get into a match in competitive, bro. It takes so long. I can't do that to chat. I gotta be active, bro. You know, can't lie to you. I lauded Squirrel Girl though. If that counts for anything, I was putting in work. Jesus Christ. My son said, I'm not winning because I ain't got on my straw hat. GG's W team. I didn't have on my straw hat. I can't win games without my straw hat, right? I need my one piece straw hat. That's probably what it is. I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get it back in blood. Oh, you know I gotta do a little promotion though, real quick. Watch this. And then get everybody a thumbs up. You feel me? W. I ain't gonna front. I caught a couple followers like that, bro. I ain't gonna front. There's a little one. You feel me? Drop your shit in every match. I drop my shit in every match, bro. I don't care. Somebody could be like, yo, boy, you out here promoting. I don't care. I'm dropping my shit. Caught a couple followers over that. Can't even lie to you. Can't lie. I just hit a $120 off of this other dude. My son. What's his name? Ross Smash 607. I'm 120 follower. He was like, yo, I found you on the game. Word back. See how fast I get into a match, man? I'm gonna run competitive after this one. I'll be warmed up. Yeah, that took too long anyway right there. Yo, I can't wait till Angela come out. What? I think I might play with Angela. Get this shit. Big ass cookie. This shit is a Nutella blondie. That shit looks fake good though. Here, take a bite, chat. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That tastes all right, though, chat. A little sweet, but it's all right. I think that's the only thing, chat. Yeah. I like fruits and vegetables better, you know what I mean? I said fruits and vegetables. I like vegetables too, but I like fruits. Let's go, team. You know what I mean? I'm with you, Tyrone. I mean, Cloak and Dagger. I gotta remember what's her name. I just remember his name is Tyrone. That should be having me dying. Tyrone, no. Nah, she's disrespectful. She gonna pick me up and slam me like that? I'll violate her. Let's go, team. Got her. Me what you thought? Me what you, baby? Oh, watch your back, bro. Watch your back. Oh, they switched to straight flyers, huh? Back up, back up. Back up, Hiller. Damn, what he hit me with? I said back up, Hiller. Good thing. Hiller life is more important than my life. You heard, chat? I only take lives. I don't give it. You feel me? So a healer need it. I took a bullet for Cloak and Dagger. Oh, nah. He's wilding. Well, while I met them at the corner, yo, you should did a call out and say, yo, they on their way. They coming. They about to spin the block. You ain't say nothing, bro. You let me walk right over there. That's shiesty. Now let's get it back in blood. I don't want to hear nothing. No excuses. Damn. I don't really like this blondie cookie shit. I'm still eating it. I like the bottom part, not the top part. Too sweet. I'm gonna stop eating that. Let's go, team. Let's lock in. Oh shit, Thor! What the hell? Let's go, Team W, y'all. Oh, and I still killed him at the end. I killed him in slow motion. Y'all seen that, chat? I know you seen the X pop up. I killed Ultron when the game was finishing in the milliseconds. Chat, I don't know, but that's a highlight for me. That one was a highlight for me. That was some shit right there. I was extra care, bro. Who that? Hey, I saw you on Kick streaming often, but not affiliated yet. Man, we don't get the fuck out of them fake ass comments. Why is it that Kick is ODing with these fake comments, bro? I caught one as soon as I went live. I caught one. I need a bot for Kick. But this make no sense. Yo, you gonna order the food? Let's go, team. Yeah, I said let's go meet them at the point. Let's go. But now we're not going to meet them at the point. Okay, I see them. Damn, I'm not getting no hits. What the hell? Yeah, let me get some food with y'all, bro. Let me eat with y'all. Nah, I'm gonna have to just get on the front line because y'all wilding. Y'all not even letting a brother eat. What is he doing? Get up there. Bro, how am I like avoiding all the action? Where is it at? Am I going crazy? You're not armed in nothing, brother. You just got an arm. I did nothing. We doing bad this round, chat. That's how I feel, my soul. Even though we're gonna win as a team, I feel like we're gonna win. I'm gonna stop eating that shit, right? It's disgusting. I gotta stop. Oh wow. You wanna taste it? It's not as it's like, you know, the people be trying to make stuff to make it be like sweet and like, oh, this is so good. It's gonna like, you did too much. Plain ass cookie would have been fine. Or regular blondie. The Nutella, my heart beating fast. You know, I'm good. Oh, who's that? Roxilla. Roxilla, what's up, Roxilla? I gotta make this. Let me make chat a little bigger so I can see you. Because I didn't even notice that you wrote me. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Let me grab this real quick and make this a little bigger. Yeah, why was it like that? It was, I know I wasn't bugging. I don't know why it was, this is how it's supposed to be. It was all stretched out and shit. I don't know. Yo, what's up, Roxilla? Oh, how I say, See, you know I don't be reading properly, chat. I'm slow. It don't say Roxilla. It says Rox. Rox6 Lisa. Rox6 Lisa. Rox6 Lisa. Did I say it right? I don't know if I said it right. I think I said it right. Rox6 Lisa. Rox6. I think I said it right, bro. I think I said it right. You feel me, chat? I think I said it right. You feel me? Don't judge me if I said it wrong, though. You feel me? Don't judge me if I said it wrong. Hold on. Let's do a little shameless plug. They don't gotta add me on Twitch. I always tell them you can add me on anything. I don't feel like I'm fully warmed up though, bro, to play a comp match. Yo, chat. I ain't gonna front. I've been waiting to do a review of the One Piece chapter, cause you know, guys are going nada. You feel me, chat? It's not a game. You know, I'm real right with the set. You see my flag. Watch when my Jolly Roger go by right now. Watch it. It's never a game. We don't play games when it comes to the set. We part of the Grand Fleet. Stop playing with us, New York City Pirates. We out here locked and loaded, ready to explode shit. You feel me? Stop playing with us. We'll pull up and pop at you. Pop, pop, pop. You feel me? New York City Pirates, you heard? We got the Bronx Bomber. You heard? That's going to be one of my moves. I'm like, what's your only moves? I'm like, because I got to rep New York, not only Brooklyn. My shit going to be called, I'm going to have a move called the Bronx Bomber, and I just slap the shit out of them with a baseball bat, but like, it gotta be like a, you know, a special bat or some shit. You know, they be having like special armor. It's gonna be hockeyed up. Knock your ass up. Oh, it could be like the bat that Luffy. You. Let me stop. We watching. We doing Marvel. Yo, chat. I got a question. You think I should put because I be watching the comic book shit. I can see I can put that up in the corner screen. I got some ideas. You feel me? I got 2 friend requests. I ain't even peep. Hold on. Bro. Oh, Big Poop Deck. Oh, yeah, boy. I remember them. Oh, yeah. I added 3 friends. I only read 2. You feel me? So we added them back. You feel me? So shout out to Rox6 Lisa, man. You know what kills me? I need to add in the thing that says like bring, like you gotta comment. I be forgetting that, bro. Hold on. Let me go on my Kick. And I don't even understand how to really use Kick itself because it's so confusing, even if I'm using my actual desktop. It's so confusing. But let's get into the next game, B. What should say? Oh, that's why I was all the way back there. I'm like, wait, what? As you know, we trying to lord my boy, Moon Knight. I'm just off today. I don't know why. I ain't hit Relentless yet. I hate Rumble Resource. I hate playing this one, bro. And we already starting off bad. Sakatsuki. You know who Sakatsuki? Oh shit. You know who that is, bro? Oh no, that's not his name's Sakazuki, not that. Yeah, B. Yo, y'all think I should be chat? Y'all think I should be somebody from One Piece? Yo. We got somebody with a mic, bro. We got a mic out here, so we're gonna have heavy comms. You heard, chat? Heavy comms. That means communication. Let's see. A little 1, 2. Let's see. Let's drop a little Jeff here. You feel me? Brother. Okay, Spidey. I love a good Spider-Man. Yo, bro. You already know what to do. Spidey, I don't gotta tell you what to do. Look, come here. Let me talk to you. You better hit the back line. That's you. Black Panther, come over here too. Everybody in black suits. You too, Magic. Come over here. You good. You already know what to do. I gotta talk to them. Spider-Man, hit the back line. Black Panther, hit the back line. You know what to do. Tear their asses up. Go. Let's go, team. I'm with y'all. I just have to make sure they ready to go. You feel me, chat? Because every time I see these motherfuckers on the dance floor, and you see her right here, Magic on the dance floor is a problem too, bro. I tell y'all. She be knocking shit out. I gotta learn how to play with her. Are they dumb? Are they dumb? Are they dumb? Tell them back up. Tell them back up. Keep pushing them, team. Let's go. W team. Stay heavy on it. Stay on them, team. Stay on them. That pressure on them. They scared. I'm with y'all. I'm with y'all. I see y'all. Y'all moving on it. Let's go, team. Aggressive we playing today. Let's go. Oh, shit. Back up. I walked up for 1 second, bruh. 1 second, bruh. Why I got an accent all of a sudden? I'm not even English. I mean, I'm not even thing. Oh, I know why I'm not even noticing it, too. They extracting resources. Nah. Let's get this. Let's get this work. Oh, shit. Stranger's weak. Damn. Who killed me? Magneto. Wow. I didn't even see him. Oh, they ready to rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Yo, that used to be. Yo, I should find that game and stream that. That used to be my shit. Sega Dreamcast days, bro. Shit crazy, bro. Let's go, Spidey. He weak. Let's go. Let's go, team. We locked in. And we only got one healer. I was wondering what the hell going on. Yo, y'all want to push to the next area? Somebody want, oh, y'all got this? 30 seconds? I bet. They still gonna try to come. Let's see. Are they coming over here? Oh, yeah, let's go. And they switched to a Moon Knight. I'm on my way to A. I ain't have it. Not against Magneto. I wasn't beating him just now. Let's go, Spider Bot. I see you. Keep doing your. Oh, damn. I spoke too soon. What you saying, Queen? You ordering it? Yeah, we all got low from that one. We ain't dumb. Damn, bro. She picked me up and slammed me by my neck. I ain't saying I ain't like it, but I'm saying, damn. He picked me up and slammed me by my neck and kicked me. I'm fragile. Wait, I thought you said you knew what you would get though. Clear them mugs out. Clear them suckers out. Clear them suckers out. Let's push them. They right here in the cut. Magneto by itself. Let's give him a place to go respawn at. Let's go, team. He pushing B. I'm going by B with him. I'm coming with you. Luna's latex. What the Luna's yo. Nah, bro. Better angle right here. You see that? Damn, she trying her hardest to get me, bro. I didn't think she saw me escape her special. Damn, she wiped everybody. Oh, she saw me. I was up in the sky. I'm like, what's she looking at? She saw me. She was not playing. She said, get this motherfucker out of here. I was peppering them up. You want sushi? I just something different, something like it don't gotta be cold sushi. I eat hot sushi. Not hot sushi, but you know what I'm saying? The protein is always cooked. Damn, took her spirit and I took his life. You heard? He thought he took her spirit. I took his life. Let's go, Luna. Come on, chat. Stop playing with us, bro. We a W team, bro. So it's my job right here. My job is to pepper them up like seasoning. You feel me? Pepper them up. Let the team do their job. You feel me? The team gonna apply that pressure regardless. We just gotta pepper them up. That's it. Like seasoning, baby. They don't even see it. She on it. And I popped my special on right there. I was gonna kill her, boy. W team, bro. W team. And Mr. Fantastic went crazy with the relentless. He went crazy with the relentless. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to fix my chat so I can see chat all the time when I look over, cause shameless plug, never hurt nobody. From where? Shrimp basket. I mean, you want shrimp basket? Say you want shrimp basket? You want shrimp basket? I mean, oh yo, you know what I seen the other day that I forgot about? Black Now. Oh, okay, okay. I thought I was bugging. I seen them on the block. They was on my block, bro. Parked up and people eating, ordering food. I'm like, yo, bro, what the hell? In the hood. I'm like, yo, bro, on the block. It's not Labor Day, it's not parade, nothing, bro. It's regular day. It look like. I'm like, they just parked up outside like that, bro. We found out one of the homies own that. I'll be ruffled. I'm asking, should I buy this? Oh, chat. Now you know what I wanted to do? Quick, fast. What? I said I'm not sure because if it's up to me, I'd rather get my shrimp basket probably from somewhere else. Oh, how much? What else it come with? You gonna be good with that though? All right. What time is it? All right. Okay. Do what you want to do. Like all the rah rahs. I know you want rah rah. All the rah rahs. Yeah, cause I don't want no fried food to go to bed with. I want to hurt my stomach. What game is this? Nah, I was gonna say, should I buy Oblivion? I don't know if y'all play that, but I saw Oblivion the other day, and I was like, man, I really like that. I like Skyrim. I don't know. We gotta figure it out. We're gonna play some more Rivals. Yeah, I'll be having more. Love your vibes. Add me on Discord so that I can join your next stream username. Hey man, I think those is bots too. What y'all think? Y'all think those is bots? Cause I'm used to Twitch bots. I'm not used to kick bots yet. Kick bots is a little different. I don't know. Oh, shout outs to Joe the Ripper for following up, bro. Shout outs to Joe the Ripper, bro. For the follow. Thank you for the follow, bro. That's over on Twitch. I want to be able to see. I really gotta set up the I'm after this, I'm gonna set it up, bro. I promise. I'm gonna set it up. Because it's hard for me to tell. Like I can't even acknowledge if I got follows on Twitch or not. I mean on Kick because it's not set up. I just started using my Kick the other day. So when I get follows on Kick and all, I want to be able to shout y'all out too. You feel me? YouTube, I want to be able to shout y'all out too, bro. I don't know. You know what I mean? I thought it's just a show to show you that I was really grinding to become a Twitch affiliate, bro. But now I'm making sure I'm versatile. But we're gonna worry about that after. Right now, chat, we gotta lock in and put a W on the board for the team. Come on, Thor. Don't be looking at me like that. Why y'all all stop? Why y'all all stopping? We moving together as a unit. We a team. Hey. Let's go, team. Thank you for the hills. What they think they was gonna catch me lacking? They did. What you said, boo? Huh? Huh? Oh, I can't hear you. You're talking mad low. Let's push them back, team. Let's push them back. Let's push them back. I'm over here. I'm peppering them up like steak and eggs. Peppering them up like steak and eggs. Oh shit! They flyers notice me. They flyers notice me. Falling back. I need some heals. I gotta fall back. Oh, where the hell's the health pack at? Chat. Another thing about playing rivals: learn where the health packs is at, because you don't want to be like me. I'm always forgetting where the health packs is at. I'm out here fighting for my life. Shit, they shooting. Damn, they flyer got me, boy. It's the flyers in the air. Yeah. Yo, y'all want me to put the other camera so y'all can see my my real face, I guess? Somebody said that before. They're like, yo, bro, we want to see the real you. Like, all right, bro, you can see the real. I'll let you see the real me. This is the real me. Scarlet Witch. Fucking hate her. I hate her when I'm not playing with her. I hate any character that I'm not playing with at the moment and they kill me. No. I don't. Spider-Man, I have a real genuine love-hate relationship with him. When he on my team and he doing his job, boy, I love him. When he's against me and he's doing his job, I hate him. It's the worst. Yeah, I just died. Let me stop talking to y'all so I can lock in. Let me stop talking to y'all. Boy name was Handrew. Yo, Thor, that's a female. Thor, you trying to beat up a girl, bro? Nah, we not gonna let you beat. Damn, I'm gonna have to let him beat you up because they killed me. Sorry. I ain't gonna front. For our Scarlet Witch, a quick, easy kill is Ultron. Nah, Thor is on some demon time, bro. What's up with him? Nah, he again like 30 times, bro. Look at my body on the floor. Kill him. I'm backing up. Damn, that man Thor's on ass, bro. He's putting belt to ass on me, bro. What happened, Strange? You just gonna stand there, brother? Go let him shoot you in your face like that? Yo, we fighting for our lives right now, you heard? Gangsta time. So y'all do what you gotta do. Put your life on the line. Risk it all, baby. Win, lose, or draw. Home. I want to shout outs to the whole team, B. If it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't be here today. Nah, they was wilding, bro. Alright. I got a question. Should I buy Oblivion? That's my question to y'all, chat. Should I buy Oblivion? I'm like so conflicted, bro. All right, look, chat. I really want the game. Is it good? Hold on one second. Let me look it up. Let me go on YouTube real quick. Let me see. You know, I'm gonna put on for a second. Chat. I be having ideas. Crazy. I'm gonna put something on real quick. I'm gonna copy these filters, right? Hold on, I'm gonna come back, right? I'm coming back to it. I'm gonna come back to it. 1 second. Yo, I was in the game with you earlier. I love that filter. This is not a filter. This is my real face, bro. This is my real face, bro. This is really me, bro. This is really me, bro. This is really me. This is my real face. This is how I was born and raised. You feel me? I be transforming back to human form. It's all right, nah, you good, bro. It's your first time here with us, chatting with us. You feel me? You good, bro. It's all right. Just let you know, you feel me? The reason why I'm great, you feel me? Like, yes, when I landed here, first rule of business, a part of where I'm from, from over there, you feel me? Where I'm from, when we land, we gotta assimilate. So when I got here, the first person I saw was a black person. So I transformed. I should have transformed into a white person because these motherfuckers got it easier right now. Nah, I'm fucking with you, chat. But yeah, bro, you know the not Green Lantern, what's his name? Martian Manhunter. That's Martian Manhunter's story though, for real, for real. Y'all go look up Martian. You know what, chat? Hold on, chat. Hold on. He's DC. He's not Marvel. I know that. I'm a real right Marvel fan. Don't play with me. But his story be having me dying because the fact that his story is that he an alien that crash landed from space and chose to be a black person during slavery is crazy, bro. Why? Hold on, bro. Nah, I can't lie to you. But I wanted to show y'all the Red Hulk, bro. I was watching the Red Hulk. Let me do what I was doing originally, bro. Cause you see that little screen that I have? I want to set that up so that we could watch like, oh shit, what's today? The 10th? Yo, chat, I'm gonna be streaming. I'm gonna stream. All right, wait. Quick announcement, everybody tap in. Sidebar from Martian Manhunter and me and everything else. For the A1 day ones, those that remember, y'all know how I give it up. Y'all know how I do, bro. Besides doing the giveaways for everybody, I always stream fight night, whether it's fight night, soccer matches, basketball game. I said basketball matches, basketball games, baseball games, football games, whatever it is that is a like paid pay-per-view service that you cannot get and you want to watch it. We gonna watch it here, B. And no, we not gonna do what I did last time. I can't go back on papers. I'm currently on federal YouTube parole, 90 days on violation. I can't make no more mistakes, okay? Especially on YouTube. Twitch, I did my time. I did my crime. And I paid. I even had to go to content creator school for both. You feel me? Let's not do that for kick. But the Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford fight, I'm gonna be streaming that. We're gonna be up in the Discord. You feel me? I'm gonna drop the rules and regulations to be able to watch it with us for free. Or if you want to subscribe, hit that subscribe. You feel me? You hit that little subscribe button and make it even better. It gives you a voice in the community. You feel me? But I'm always going to do that. You feel me? Shout outs to the Australian community. I mean, yeah, well, they are the community, but shout outs to the Australian community and the New Zealand community, man. Shout outs to y'all for always tapping in and always showing love. Ever since that first fight, you feel me? Where I risked it all and I caught my charge. Did my time. You feel me? And then for those that watched the next fight when my man was boxing and he was fighting out of New Zealand. I mean, he's from Brooklyn, but he was fighting somebody out of New Zealand, and we had the whole New Zealand audience here, man. And they still tune in, they still watch. So, you know, I just want to shout y'all out. But yes, sir, for sure. Yes, indeed. We will be doing the Canelo Alvarez fight, bro. For a big fat. That is a big fact. We're gonna watch that one, bro. You feel me? But I forgot what I was gonna do, chat. Oh yeah, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to let me get another game in before I do it. No. You feel me? Cause one thing I want to do is entertain y'all, bro. And I got some shit that I had in mind. You feel me? Let's add a new source. Let's do a source clone. I'm gonna put y'all on too, cause everybody be asking me like, yo, bro, how you stream and how you do this, that, and the third. I'll be like, bro, it's mad easy. And you feel me? Don't let these people capture you. It's mad easy. You feel me? I'm gonna put y'all on the game though. I got you. Where's that? PlayStation 5, no. What is it called? Police video reaction. Wait, what is that shit called inside of that? I'm gonna do it over here though, so y'all can see. But y'all can't see. Y'all can't see me do it. I'm not about to show y'all my screen and everything. Well, I could. It don't matter. But then I gotta do more stuff to delay it. Hold on 1 second. Let me just pull this up. Source clone. Cancel that. Wait, where's that? You got another one up there? All right, boom. Let's do this one. Boom. Let's go to M. Oh yeah, let me get a piece of that. That's a regular ass croissant. Hell yeah. You know how to activate the clone? Wait, hold on. Where's that though? God damn, why it's so big? Oh. All right, boom, chat. That's what I wanted to do right here. I want to paste these filters in here. There's a lot going on right now. I know. I'm not the best in production. Boom. That's what I wanted to do. Oh damn, why I look like that? We have to edit it out a bit. So I want to put this up here. Not for me on this screen, but the other screen. You feel me? While I'm playing the game. Right? So boom. Let's copy this. Let's go back to PlayStation 5. You feel me? Boom. Right, chat. I'm gonna fix it up right now though. Cause I want to show y'all some stuff while we you know, while I play the game. Like I want y'all to see certain things so y'all can be in tune with certain shit like that. You know what I mean? Like I be tired sometimes of just playing the game and y'all don't see nothing else. So like I was just watching this. You feel me? I want to start doing this too. This is gonna be something I do when I'm not Red Hulk. Like something I do because I like to support these channels all the time. You feel me? Comics Explain, God Rest the Dead. He no longer here with us, but he's originally put me on. And then Comic Historian and all of the comic book shit. Cause we can't be playing comic book stuff and y'all don't know what's going on. So let's. All right, boom. I want to do it like this. We're gonna pull this all the way back. Bro, what the hell? I gotta get the ad blocker. I could just pay for YouTube Premium also. Right? I could pay for YouTube Premium. But why? Right? Why? Why should I pay for YouTube Premium? That makes no sense. I don't know. Something in my soul doesn't make me want to pay for ad blockers and shit like that. Like, I don't like spending my money, Chad. I'm broke. I'm poor. I need money. That's why I'm streaming. This is why I'm streaming. I need some money. I have no shuckles, no coins, no pennies. Nothing's in my purse. I mean my coin purse. All right, let's fix this real quick. Let's see. Why is it curving in like that though? You feel me? Like, why is it curving in like that instead of the other way? I'm confused. I'm confused, G. I'm confused. Because if I play this, y'all can see it in the background, what's going on in the comics currently. Like, I want to do that. You feel me? Or have gameplay of other people playing the game, watching it and stuff like that. Because what I'm doing is me. We should have other stuff going on the screen. You feel me? Like, we entertainment, bro. Putting y'all on. I like, you know me, I always like showing y'all new stuff, bro. So, don't knock me for that one, bro. All right. Why is it not shadow glow stroke is fine? That's not the problem. Oh, nah. What the hell? Why does it look like that? Bro, stop doing that. You know it's confusing me too? Like, bro, I'm so confused at why it's not putting the whole thing. Let me load on the stroke. I'm confused. Alright. We gonna go from here, B. I do not understand why my shit is curving in like that, bro. Like, bro, this is pissing me off, bro. Like, OD right now, bro. Freaking delete this shit, bro. Like, what the hell? It's getting me tight. You feel me? Bro, what's up with this shit? Nah, it's acting wop, bro. All right, whatever. What we gonna do? I'm gonna delete all these shit. Bro, what? Bro, I'm getting tight right now. I'm trying to play this up here for y'all, and they wanna act like it ain't got no sense. Yeah, we want to just do it like this for right now. Can y'all hear that? Y'all don't know, bro. I love Wolverine. I love Dockin, Hulk, my boys. Hold on, chat. I'm trying to figure out why the bottom half is not rounded, bro. Like, why, bro? It's just like busting my head, bro. Cause everything else working. I'm gonna bring down the stroke so y'all can see them more. Like that. It's the best I could do right now, chat. I don't understand why it's like this. But that's what I want to do. I don't understand why. It's fine. We gonna make it work though. Where should we put it though? Like here? No, that's chat. They gotta go somewhere like that, right? All right, let's see how that look on the game, B. I'm gonna play this. Can y'all hear it? Or maybe I should just mute it. Y'all just mute it and then y'all can see on the bottom, like whatever's going on type shit. Y'all just watch shit like that. How that sound? Yeah, we could do it like that. Oh, nah, I'm heavy delayed though. Am I? Hell yeah. Oh, we can't do that, chat. We gonna see. We gonna see how it work. No excuses. Cause we still got to do better content regardless. You feel me? Yeah, chat. Y'all go over there and read that up a little bit. Pay attention to that on the bottom. I'm gonna bring this down, son. I think that's better. Just so I can see, because if I can't see, then it's over. Should I put it up there? All right, chat. I think we good to go. Y'all can see that. I can see that, and we moving smoothly. Let's do it. If it becomes distracting for me, I'm gonna have to take it off. I'm not gonna lie. Let's go. Team W, team W, team. Take the point. Take the point. Oh shit, Ben Grimm, you scared me, bro. Thought somebody caught the drop on me. Stay in the back and pepper them up. Okay, the point is still clear. The point is still clear. Are they dumb, bro? We got a W team right now. Let's keep up the good work. Oh, shields up. Shields up means heels up. Yo. I can't hear you. I literally cannot hear you. You gotta come over here. I can't hear you. Huh? Oh, the food? I get it. Yeah, my fault, team. I got my food. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry. On my way in. We taking it back right now. My fault. I had to grab my food from the door. Damn. My fault, y'all. I'm back. I'm back. It's hot. Yo, I feel like the thing just told his man, yo, come over here. You got one. Damn, bro. I had nothing but faith in us. Don't worry, we got this. Let's push the point. Let's push the point. I'm with y'all. I'm with y'all. Let's go, W team. Yo, so this story right here is Hell Hulk versus Daken, which is the son of Wolverine. You feel me? Just give me the light and pass the draw. Oh. Bust another baklamo. Victor Vidum 616 with 16 kills. Let's go, man. We got W team right now. W team right here. Right here, right here. Lock in right here. They're dumb. Let's go, team. W us. W us. Let's go, team. Stay focused. Stay locked in. We got this. Shit. All of that for nothing. The thing got no aim. He don't know where to. He don't know how to. He don't know how to even maneuver. It's alright. It's alright. Apply that pressure, team. Bro, I thought she said she was bringing me a fork. Boy, she never came back with the fork or nothing. Why? Fork plastic. You came back with it already? Oh, look at me talking shit, chat. You're talking shit. You know, I got a problem. I always talk shit. That's just what I do. We gonna take it back. We gonna take it back. Dang, that's how hella got me. Hella got me. I was too busy trying to focus on the tanks. Victor Van Dum, what are you doing? Let's go right now. Please, we need you. I want to eat my food. Oh shit, boy, they right around the corner. Yo, fall back, wall, fall back, wall. Oh, yeah, shields up, heels up. Die, Ben Grimm. Die, Ben Grimm. Die, Ben Grimm. Die, Ben Grimm. We got this, team. Nothing but faith in y'all. Nothing but faith in y'all. Nothing but faith in a team like y'all. Pop clutch 100. Pop clutch 100. Double years. I gotta eat, B. I'm MVP. The big ABU, ABI. Not me with the MVP in the motherfucking. Hold on, chat. You know I gotta drop my shit real quick. Yo, one person left. Yo, bro, did we win with a what did we win with a mother less than a month full squad, chat? Did we win with a motherfucking less than full squad? Oh shit, hold on. Got a little too excited. Let's look at what I did. We put 18 on the board, bro. 18,580. We hit a quad. I told you when I play right, I hit a relentless. It's called stand back and pepper them up. You stand back and just pepper them up. And I got Mighty Vanquisher. I achieved that much KO. I got tight. 20 final hits. 9 kills. That means 9 of those kills, somebody took my kills. Fuck. Balance on it, yeah, balance on it. Alright. Chat, we're gonna come back to the screen in a second. What we're gonna do in the meantime. Eat some real quick, right? My mic was not on over here. My fault, y'all. Wait, how is this showing if it's not Oh, that's her. I'm like, alright, so let me pull this back. Y'all can watch this real quick.
Hell Hulk is the most powerful Hulk in Marvel Comics right now, and it's not even close, right? It's nuts. This guy is next level. But here's a crazy thing. All of this actually starts with Daken, the son of Wolverine. And what's going on here is he is joining a reworked version of an organization called Project Hellfire. Guys who are familiar with the X-Men comics are like, Rob, Daken's dead. How is he back? The last time we saw him, he was literally torn apart by Wolverine, and the words happy birthday were spelled out using his body parts. Yes, you're correct.
Coming right back.
Sabretooth did that. It was pretty gruesome, but we'll explain what's going on here in a minute. The first thing that I want to do, though, is talk about what's actually happening here, because one of the first new people that Daken is introduced to as part of Project Hellfire is a guy named Severeth. Now, he's already aware of a couple of the different members who were there, including Dr. Spivey, the person who basically runs the program, or at least the head scientist in the program. But Severeth, as you can imagine, is sketchy at best. I mean, look at this dude, right? If ever there were a person in Marvel Comics who might as well have giant purple letters over their head that say, I am a villain, it's this guy. I mean, look at this dude. Nothing about this guy indicates that he may be a good guy in any meaningful way. The other cool thing here is that Daken is presented with basically his own Ghost Rider bike, which is pretty dope, and it looks pretty amazing. But one of the things that's going on and what's really taking place here is that for reasons that cannot be explained, there are instances, pockets of people in various locations who are just going absolutely haywire, who are going nuts and descending into madness and to chaos. The first instance of this is in a neighborhood outside of Atlanta, right? And we're told that it's so fresh, you can smell the paint and sawdust on this place. And initially, Daken doesn't fully understand what it is that's going on. He does have an infernal sense, which is almost like a Spider-Man spider sense, except that it allows him to detect basically evil that goes on around him. And it even allows him to see through the various disguises of beings to know whether or not they are actually evil. At least that seems to be the case. But all he's really told by Severeth is that when the police arrived, they found the doors and the windows all locked. The alarm was set. The neighbors called the cops when they heard screaming, but by the time they arrived, it was too late. And he asks, do you sense anything? And that's when Daken starts looking around with his infernal sense, and his first thought, I wish I didn't. And he says, but hell has left a stain on this place. He says the wife, the husband, the children, the dog, they killed each other with kitchen knives, shaving razors, a broken chair leg, teeth. It was all of them. They were all victims and they were all killers, even the fish. And that's where Severeth almost kind of admires the situation, right? It says a rage more powerful than love. Isn't it awe-inspiring? And it kind of creeps out Daken to a degree. He's like, look, I don't know what your problem is, man, but like this kind of a thing is not something to be awed or celebrated, right? We're literally witnessing a family where they massacred each other. It's to be pitied and it's to be despised. And whoever it was that caused this is to be hunted down and destroyed. And so what he ends up doing is going down into the basement. Why? Because in every horror movie, that's where the bad stuff comes from. And so once he gets down there, he manifests Bagragul, right? Lets Bagragul take over and he becomes the Helverain. Now that name may sound familiar to you guys who are familiar with the Wolverine and Ghost Rider crossover. It should. And again, that kind of goes into the explanation of what's happening with Daken in the here and now. But he ends up tearing through the floor and then finds a finger. And what ends up happening is that when they get it back, there's this kind of indication that this finger sent people into a mindless rage, right? That is emitting a kind of radiation that drove people insane. More so than that, because Daken's kind of being reintroduced to all of this, what he's told by Spivey is he says, you can see why we need that infernal compass of yours. Because of your demonic composition, you too seem to be immune to its irradiating effect. I'll stay behind, but I will be watching. Because what ends up happening is that with Severeth being part demon and with Daken being infected by a demon, they're able to enter into this room where the Hell Hulk resides. And of course, as you can tell, it's missing its head, and it's essentially missing pieces. One of them, of course, being its finger along with a few other fingers. And so when this finger is reattached, one of the things that Severeth says is that with this Hell Hulk, the radiation it emits drives people into just this mindless rage. And he even says, Dr. Spivey had a pet cat named Archimedes. It snuck in here behind me. By the time I realized it, it was too late. The cat had been driven to chew off its own leg and claw out its own eyes. That's the kind of rage that we're talking about here. And so once the finger's attached, the Hell Hulk clenches its fist. And what this seems to indicate is that it's quite literally coming alive. And so that's where Daken asks the question, why am I here? Right? Why do you guys even have me here in the first place? And all he's really told is that they've done analysis, at least soil analysis, on the finger that they unearthed that is consistent with all of their other findings, that the burial directly precedes the emergence of the Helverain, the demon now nested inside of Daken. Not only that, Dr. Spivey says Bagragul built anatomical ciphers and monuments to Mephisto, all of them infused with hell magic. If the demon is responsible for the internment of the Hell Hulk, then maybe you can help us understand the intentions behind it. After all, Daken is possessed by Bag-Rigul, so who better to be able to give them answers to why seemingly Hell Hulk was torn to pieces and dropped off in these various locations by Bag-Rigul than the person who's infected by him. And so at that point, they get word of another kind of crazed situation going on out there on a ship somewhere. And so this leads to Daken coming along yet again, only to find that Hell Hulk's head is down in the bottom of this ocean, just a radiating rage that's driving all the occupants to absolutely go insane. And so what ends up happening is that Townsend, one of the members of Project Hellfire, basically drops a containment unit designed to effectively block the radiation of Hell Hulk and to allow everybody to start going back to a normal state. Specifically, this instance is taking place out in a lake, and all these individuals are being driven to a state of madness because Hell Hulk's head is at the bottom of this lake. Not only that, once Daken and Townsend and all those guys arrive on the scene, Townsend tells Daken, "I'm opening the hatch, dropping the containment unit and hoping for the best. If we do not complete this extraction in the next few minutes, people are going to die, and the lake water will run red." So it's really on him, because even Townsend says, "I'm starting to feel it. It's like a heavy metal frequency in the air or a poison slowly working through my blood. We're all losing control. The passengers have thrown themselves overboard. The ones that do not drown are coming for the Hellbruiser," right? The ship they're using to extract this head in the first place. But that's the thing that Daken starts to pick up on. Again, kind of being immune to this. He says, it's the Hell Hulk that's creating the perfect storm. The pieces of him that we've uncovered so far give off an energy that sends people into a mindless rage. I seem to be immune to it, maybe because of the devil that's in me, but my infernal sense is lighting up like a forest fire. And he says, I don't know what I see in that burning moment, but it scares the hell out of me, because what he's effectively looking at here is a laboratory in hell, or at least that seems to be the case, which is kind of nuts, because of course, once he gets this thing contained, everybody immediately starts going back to a normal state. And in fact, they don't even really seem to know how it was they got there in the first place. But once the head's contained, then it's just a matter of getting it back to headquarters. Here's the crazy thing about this. In the midst of all of it, he says, something's missing. And I don't just mean pieces of Hell Hulk that we're hunting down and puzzling together. It's the mystery of his larger story and how it fits together with mine. He says, for now, at my insistence, we're storing the head in a separate location. The containment unit is built from an alloy with metal mined out of hell itself, but I can still sense the rage coming off of it, like an angry voice heard through the walls of an apartment. The body of the Hell Hulk gives off a low-level frequency that we're still trying to understand, but the head gives off a far stronger signal like a power cell. The brain, Dr. Spivey believes, is still active, and that's what I want. Its mind, its mission, and its memories to plug in to pain. And so what he does is he uses the Helverane equivalent of what you and I might consider to be the penance stare, not in the sense that it inflicts pain, but in the sense that the infernal sense that he has allows him to basically see what's been going on with this thing. And in a lot of ways, the story of Hell Hulk kind of mirrors the story of Wolverine. It was created through experimentation, and that's what we're told. Screams of rage and pain, hellfire and sulfur, scientific and surgical equipment, a furnace or reactor, a laboratory, Hell's own laboratory. Mephisto is there, Hell Hulk is there, Bag-Rigul is there, and someone else. He can't quite put his finger on it, but someone is there. And so here's the insanity behind all this, and here's kind of the bigger picture of what's going on. And so as we established, Daken was killed at one point in time. Bag-Rigul was a demon created by Mephisto that was really kind of his own, I guess maybe ego run away with itself. But the idea behind Bag-Rigul is that he would travel to Earth and then basically start erecting these kind of monuments of art and death. Quite literally, killing virtually anybody he could find and creating these grotesque displays of art. Initially, Bag-Rigul had possessed a kid by the name of Brahm, and then Brahm started traveling around and killing mutants everywhere that he could find them. Of course, that coincided with the Fall of X storyline, the end of the the Krakoan age, all that kind of stuff. That drew the attention of both Wolverine as well as Ghost Rider. It drew the attention of Wolverine because mutants were being killed. It drew the attention of Ghost Rider because a demon was doing it. And so ultimately Wolverine was basically brought into Project Hellfire and then bonded with the demon entity. Specifically, Bagra Ghul was taken from Brahm and bonded to Wolverine. The intention was to turn Wolverine into just this kind of super soldier with demonic powers. So effectively, Project Hellfire was a spin-off of Weapons Plus, right? The program that originally turned Wolverine into Wolverine. What ends up happening is that he basically turncoats, and then ultimately Project Hellfire was defeated in its original form. Of course, Wolverine also lost Bagra Ghul as well. Now, there will be an explanation for what happened to Bagra Ghul later on. We'll talk about that here in a second. But in essence, he came back. And when he came back, it was at the time when Daken had died. And so Bagra Ghul had quite literally restructured Daken, brought him back together, sewn him back together in one piece, and then possessed him. And so, as is normally the case, when an individual is possessed by a demon, specifically when the Ghost Rider mythos is being referenced, there's a period of amnesia when that individual doesn't really know who they are, they don't know their own history, they're just kind of running amok as an individual possessed by a demon. Over time, Daken started to seize control, and that's why at the very beginning of the Helverane story with Daken himself, that instead of what you saw previously, where Bagra Ghul was just killing virtually any and everybody that it happened to come across, that Daken was following the traditional Ghost Rider mythos, only going after sinners, evildoers, people who were acting with nefarious intent. And so that kind of brings him to where he is now. But that's the crazy thing about all of this, is because one of the things that had happened in the first volume of this story, because this is technically volume 2, is that he was met by Doctor Strange. And Doctor Strange, of course, was no longer operating as Sorcerer Supreme due to the events of Bloodhunt and the fact that Doctor Doom was the new Sorcerer Supreme. And so all Doctor Strange could really do was provide Daken with something called the Book of Lamentation, which would basically teach him various spells and incantations related to demonic mythology, kind of help him on his journey in trying to track down evildoers and so on and so forth. But because of that book, it's when he starts to realize something much bigger is happening with this whole Hell Hulk situation. Because initially, Severith comes in and says, hey, the government's really excited about what we're doing. After all, we are kind of funded by the government, right? We're a branch off of the government's own individual projects. They're using phrases like dirty bomb and weapon of mass destruction, but the reality here is they want to see if we can bring Hell Hulk under control and see if we can provide him as a weapon for the government to use. But that's when Daken says no, right? The answer is absolutely not. And he says, I've been studying the Book of Lamentation, a text Doctor Strange gave me. It's essentially a demonic codex for hellish ciphers and magic. And I've learned firsthand when it comes to hell, there's often strategy hidden beneath the terror and madness. And I found something. This is the pattern of chaos. And he says, we already know that the demon inside me, Bagra Ghul, had some role in all of this. These burials, I think they're a different sort of monument, one that was built the world over. But initially, he just starts bleeding from his various orifices and then just collapses. And so following that, he just kind of wakes up, right, comes to in a graveyard, and he's effectively traveling around to kind of regain himself, recenter himself, right? That from his perspective, his father Wolverine would always get drunk, or at least try to get drunk in order to clear his head. For Daken, it's revisiting his past errors, because one of the ways in which he basically retakes control from Bagra Ghul is by feeling remorse, feeling guilt and shame for the various things he's done, which that kind of empathy drives demonic beings away. So it allows him to retake control. That's when Severith shows up here. And the crazy thing about this is that the two of them kind of start having this conversation where Severith approaches him as a colleague and a friend and says, look, here's the thing for you to understand, that yes, I am a person who has done nefarious things in the past, and I am ashamed of my demonic heritage, or at least my ties to the occult. And he says, but I will let you do something, right? I will let you look into my mind, and I will let you see what it is that I am about. And when that happens, he basically kind of guides Daken through this whole process. And he says, I was in charge of Hell's laboratories, a place place not so different from Project Hellfire. I experimented with potions and alloys and runes and magic. I dissected and spliced together species. I built weapons, abominations. The Hell Hulk was supposed to be my greatest creation. And he says, of course, there's more to the story, much more, but you know just enough to torture you in your grave. You want to protest, I know this. You can't. You can't move. You cannot even breathe. That's because the cane has a paralyzing curse woven into it that it's time for you to sleep, and it's time for the Hell Hulk to awaken. So he quite literally locks Daken away, right, and just goes on the hunt in order to release Hell Hulk seemingly across the world. And that's when you start to get into Hell Hulk's entire origin here. Because what we're told here is the titles of our world do not translate exactly, but Severith's purpose existed somewhere between magician and scientist, that he conducted experiments on behalf of Mephisto, experiments in pain and in power, that his subjects were human, animal, virus, plant, demon, and everything in between, that this was an incubation chamber for demonic seedlings, that the infernal furnace was a site that you could maybe compare to the Hadron Collider beneath Geneva or the Scorpius machine at Los Alamos, a dangerous source of supercharged energy. One of his experiments involved breeding demons who could absorb its force, fueled and weaponized by hellfire. And we're told it was a success, a terrible success, that you could say that's when Hell Hulk was truly born. But births are vulnerable and life-affirming. Erupted is a better word for such an unnatural disaster. And that's what's nuts about this. And this is what I mean when I say Hell Hulk is the strongest version of Hulk running around out there right now. Because as this origin story continues on, one of the things that we find out is that when Hell Hulk emerged, it went on a rampage all throughout hell. Throughout the entire realm of Mephisto, it went on a warpath, destroying everything that it could come across, right? Just extreme, mindless rage. And then Hell Hulk found Mephisto, and where Mephisto is at the absolute peak of his power in his own realm, it means nothing. None of Mephisto's barriers, none of his spells, none of his incantations, none of it makes any difference whatsoever. That Hell Hulk literally starts pummeling through every single defensive mechanism that Mephisto has, and even his offensive attacks, right, to the point that Mephisto almost dies. And so what ends up happening in this time period between Bagragul's defeat after the events of Wolverine and Ghost Rider's crossover, when he's basically locked away by Mephisto for his punishment for failure, and the time that he returns and possesses Daken, is that Mephisto calls him back, right? He literally recalls Bagragul. The reason being because Bagragul, despite simply being a demon and less powerful than Mephisto, it has a special ability to figure out the weaknesses of whatever it is it happens to be facing off against. Sometimes these weaknesses are mental, sometimes they're emotional, sometimes they're physical. And so Bagragul had the ability to overcome Hell Hulk, and that's exactly what happened. That Bagragul tore Hell Hulk to pieces, ripped him into parts, and while it wasn't enough to kill him, it was enough to scatter his remains across the world. And that's why all of its bits and pieces have been everywhere, influencing all these people and screwing up all these people's minds. But looking at this, right, a version of Hulk, despite the fact that it's not Bruce Banner, that's powerful enough to overpower a Hell Lord in their own realm. That is no small feat. It would be like Hulk showing up and pummeling Hela, or any one of those guys, right? Like, it's an incredible feat of strength here. And so switching back to Severith, what ends up going on is when he travels back to Project Hellfire, he takes the head of Hell Hulk and reattaches it. And initially, like, Dr. Spivey walks in and is like, what are you doing? Like, why are you reattaching his head? And that's where Severith is just like, you should probably run, because this thing is activating right now. It's coming back, and when it does, no pun intended, there's going to be hell to pay. Now, the crazy thing about this is that in this confined space that Dakin is in, the spell that was cast by Sevireth was designed to keep Bagragul locked away, basically keeping Dakin from being able to access his Helverine powers. But that's where he says the failure of Sevireth was only accounting for the Helverine aspect, because anybody who knows anything about Dakin in Marvel Comics will tell you it's cool that he's possessed by a demon, but that hardly puts a dent in what he's capable of, because Dakin is hardcore. This dude was Dark Wolverine during Dark Reign, for God's sake, right? I mean, it's almost impossible to really kill this guy. And so what ends up happening is he literally cuts himself loose from the staff, which turned into a demonic worm and started to consume him, and then breaks his way out of this prison. And when that happens, he shows up just in time to confront Hellhulk. But by the time he gets there, Hellhulk has basically broken out, right? He's escaped and taken off. Not only that, all these people here in Project Hellfire were killed by this guy, right? They were absolutely obliterated by Hellhulk. I mean, it makes sense. They would never have a chance. Even Dr. Spivey seems to be suffering with mortal wounds. We don't really see her die per se, but we do see Helverine race off. And this is where things get wild, because at this point, Hellhulk is traveling through the DC metro area. And that's where Dakin says the problem is my infernal sense feels like it's going haywire. Evil is everywhere. Pain is everywhere. I'm riding through the wake of Hellhulk's escape. Its rage is contagious. The metro is a war zone. There are too many people to save, so I do what I can, which will never be enough. These are people who are jumping out of buildings to their dooms, crashing into cars, crashing into each other, killing each other. It's absolute pandemonium. It's like 28 Days Later happening in Marvel Comics. But throughout all of this, it's all happening because Sevireth has Hellhulk in the back of a rig and just driving him through all this stuff. All the while, he's just irradiating this energy that's driving people to madness. Now, if I'm a betting man, his intention is to drive Hellhulk into hell in order to destroy Mephisto. But we don't know, because we have to wait until next month. With that being said, guys, we're going to bring this video to an end. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like, and I will catch you all later. Peace.
I smell the finest things for a living. Today we're smelling laundry. Strong out of freshness. Great finish, delicate, and spotless.
My daughter's in ballet.
And you need a set of bun, and you don't know what set means.
Exactly.
This'll keep her hair sleek, and this'll keep it cute. Get beauty from people who get beauty. Only at Sephora.
The Beyonder's back, ladies and gentlemen, and that's not even the main thing that happens in this story. This story's crazy, or at least this issue's crazy, right? So here's what this does. This initially opens up with the Avengers facing off against a guy named the Autocrat. He doesn't matter. He's ultimately defeated by She-Hulk, whatever, who cares? The thing about this is this story takes place immediately after the events of All Out Avengers. We didn't cover the entirety of that because there were only select moments in that story that were important. We'll talk more about that later on when we get to the main villain that's being introduced here, who's basically the new god of Marvel Comics. It's crazy. But what ends up happening is that once the Autocrat is overtaken, the Avengers are brought by Iron Man and T'Challa to a new room that they've never seen before in Avengers Tower. And the thing about this is that even when the Avengers say, like, we've never been in this room before, the response of Iron Man and Black Panther is, neither have we. Now, if you guys notice, there's like this kind of monologue that's being offered, right? These blue squares with white letters. That is the Beyonder talking. We know that from All Out Avengers. We know the Beyonder's back. We've known that for a while. But the thing about this is he's always kind of talking about how like there's a main event that's taking place, something that's transpiring, and what he's been doing or had been doing during the events of All Out Avengers is altering reality around the Avengers themselves to create these weird and wonky circumstances in the hopes of changing their perception of the world and kind of bringing their mind to newer heights so they can face off against greater threats than they've ever encountered before. One of the things to remember is that at the end of All Out Avengers, Captain America figured out the Beyonder was the one who had been manipulating reality around them, right? There was literally this moment where he was standing in a room by himself and directly addresses the Beyonder, because he was seemingly the only one who had ever done anything like this before from Secret Wars 1 and Secret Wars 2, so the MO made perfect sense. And so what had happened here is Black Panther and Iron Man had basically worked on this system that would be able to detect an energy source and then force that energy source to enter into its physical form. The problem here is that any time the Avengers came close in the All Out Avengers storyline to figuring out that Beyonder was the one behind all this, he would alter reality around them again. So they would basically lose whatever momentum they'd gained. And so by working separately, as far as the Beyonder was concerned, they were just kind of doing individual things and working on individual projects, and he was none the wiser. Secretly, they were working on two halves of the same machine, and they basically pressed a button when they were completed, and the machine teleported to this current location and effectively assembled itself. And then once the Beyonder realizes what's going on, it's too late. The machine's turned on, and the Beyonder is yanked out and pulled into a physical form. Now, here's the thing about this, right? For those of you guys who are not familiar with the Beyonder, this guy is as close as you get to God as anybody ever has been in the history of Marvel Comics. There's two versions of Beyonder, right? You have what's called pre-retcon Beyonder and the modern day Beyonder. Pre-retcon is the level of power he had in Secret Wars 1 and Secret Wars 2 before you get to the unofficial Secret Wars 3. You'll find a link to that playlist down in the comments section so you can basically see exactly what I'm talking about and understand the change that Marvel made when they reduced his power. But one of the things that Jonathan Hickman had done in Avengers and New Avengers is he had returned both the Beyonder and the Beyonders, his whole race, back to the level of power they had at the beginning of all things, which is why you saw the Beyonders wiping out the cosmic entities at the end of Jonathan Hickman's Avengers and New Avengers run. Literally, it was a massacre. Hank Pym's just like out in space trying to find out where the incursions, like how it's all starting, and he sees the Beyonders killing like Eternity, Infinity, Oblivion, Master Order, Lord Chaos. They kill the Living Tribunal. It's nuts. It's one of the most insane moments ever in the history of the comic. Oh God, I love that point in Marvel Comics. But the thing about this is that once the Beyonder re-emerges, he immediately panics and starts to freak out, because what he says is, you have no idea what you've done. I've been trying to help you. I've been trying to help you by putting you through the paces, through all these crazy escapades and whatnot, giving you different levels of power or different tools that you can use, because you have no clue what's coming. There's a reason I've been hiding, and I'm hiding from that guy. That's something to understand here. The Beyonder, this being of astronomical power, is hiding from someone because they're so much more powerful than he is that he can't even begin to compare. And that's when he starts to spill the beans on what's going on, right? He says, before the Omniverse came into being, there was the Lost One. The Lost One created the Beyonders, much like they would later do with me. He imbued my people with the tiniest fraction of his power. He watched with interest as my people grew jealous and then resentful, and he watched as they plotted against him. When they attacked, he allowed it, curious to see what would happen. This turned out to be a mistake, realizing too late the genuine threat they posed. The Lost One could do little as they stole the rest of his power. Now, there is something that I do want to talk about here for a second, and that's Defenders Beyond by Al Ewing. And the reason for this is because this story is not written by Al Ewing. This is written by Derek Landy. And the reason why that's so important is because in Al Ewing's Defenders Beyond, what he stated is that the Beyonders were actually created by the Celestials. So we've got an inconsistency here. Now, what we don't know, and this is one of the things you just kind of have to wait and see in Marvel Comics, is which one Marvel goes with. This summer, actually I think it's in the fall, one of the big things that's taking place this year is that Jonathan Hickman is coming back to Marvel Comics to basically write a story about Marvel's gods. What in effect it seems like he's going to do is completely rework and restructure the nature of the cosmic hierarchy in Marvel Comics. So we'll have a definitive understanding of where people rank in terms of the level of power they have, who's in continuity, who's out of continuity, that kind of thing. So all you can really do right now, if you are reading Marvel Comics, is just kind of take this as potentially one possibility of where the Beyonders actually came from. That neither answer seems to be definitively right. But what is important here, assuming that we take this as an absolute truth, is the Beyonders are not native to their own source of power. And this flies in the face of everything we know about the Beyonders. Beyonders, right? So a little bit of explanation here for those of you guys who aren't familiar with the nature of the Beyonders, their power, different things like that. When the Beyonder was first introduced in Marvel Comics, he was just kind of a one-off in the Secret Wars story, and that was it. But Secret Wars proved to be so popular, they brought him back. And then that was all we really got, right? It was like the Beyonder Secret Wars Part 2, and that was it. It wasn't until you got to the Fantastic Four story that was kind of the unofficial Secret Wars 3 that you learned the Beyonder is simply one member of a race called the Beyonders, and they exist beyond all space and time, outside of the multiverse. Now, that
Hey, Miss Makima, do you think I have a heart?
Yes, you do. The name's Reze. I can teach you everything. Let me teach you.
I might fall for this girl. Bomb is coming. Jeez. Everybody's after my chainsaw heart! What about my heart? Genji's heart? Does nobody want that?
Boom. Chainsaw! Boom.
The Unstoppables Unlimited Collection. Luxury laundry scent beads so you can smell unstoppable.
was kind of the standard going forward for years. There wasn't really any indication or reconciliation between the Beyonder and the Beyonders outside of the fact that the Beyonder was part of their race and for whatever reason was interested in the multiverse in Marvel Comics. When Jonathan Hickman came along in Avengers and New Avengers, what he basically said is the original Beyonder from Secret Wars, the one you see here right now, this one was like a child, right? A baby more or less that had kind of been created inadvertently when the Molecule Man Owen Reese had basically conducted his experiment and created a cosmic cube by accident. And in doing so, half the energy went into Owen Reese, the other half went out and became the Beyonder. The Beyonder's source of power was never really explained. It was always just a level of power that they had that made them incredibly powerful. Al Ewing in Defenders Beyond explained that by saying their level of power was given to them by the Celestials so that if another war broke out between the Celestials, the Beyonders could put the kibosh on it, right? And just end the threat like that so it wouldn't lead to the destruction of the multiverse again. And so it's just kind of been that way ever since. This is a whole new explanation, right? The fact that there is a singular being out there who had such an astronomical level of power that the Beyonders stole that power from him and then dispersed it among themselves and used it for their own ends. Now, the funny thing about this is that, as is explained here, the Lost One cannot be traditionally killed or destroyed in seemingly any conceivable way. We're not told why. We're simply just told that's the case. And so they basically imprisoned him on a moon that existed outside the Omniverse. Now, one of the things that I want to explain here is that in Marvel, in more recent years, Omniverse and Multiverse are just two words to describe the same thing. It didn't used to be that way. The Omniverse used to be a collection of multiverses, and in fact, the Omniverse was kind of the unofficial comic book explanation for the collection of the DC Comics multiverse and the Spawn multiverse and the Marvel multiverse and any other multiverse that exists out there as a giant collection of multiverses. But again, in this day and age, Marvel seems to be using multiverse and omniverse as interchangeable terms. But of course, with him being imprisoned, what ended up happening here is somewhere along the line, he basically broke out, and that what he's been doing is traveling around the multiverse, killing any Beyonder he finds, absorbing their power into himself, or any force that the Beyonders send after him in order to try to destroy him. But the bigger point the Beyonder makes is that he and his race are just fleeing for their lives and hiding away from this guy as best as they possibly can. So what we thought was at one point these astronomically powerful gods are hiding from someone even more powerful. What I'm hoping you're noticing here, particularly if you're reading Marvel as a whole and have been for the last couple years, the entire hierarchy is being thrown in disarray. A good example, the one above all is no longer the most powerful being in Marvel Comics anymore. We know that from Defenders Beyond, right? The Crown, or whatever it is that he's called, the Enigma, is the most powerful being out there in Marvel right now. But the funny thing about this is that when the Avengers ask, so why are you here? The response to the Beyonder is, so you can help me fight this war. And the Avengers are kind of like, what are you even talking about, man? Like, so you're literally telling us that there is a guy out there whose level of power dwarfs the power of you, and you were a guy who popped up on the scene, and like, killed death in our universe, and the cosmic entities had no choice but to go to the Molecule Man Owen Reese and ask him for help because they were helpless to stop you, right? That took place in Secret Wars 2. Like, you're that guy, and you think we can help you defeat this other dude? What are you talking about, man? Like, I mean, if we can find a peaceful resolution, sure, I guess, but like, we can't win a war against a force like that. Like, what could we do? Harsh language? You get the Infinity Gauntlet, cross our fingers, and hope for the best? Like, I mean, there's nothing we can do here. And the response to the Beyonder is simply, I've given you whatever tools you need to succeed. But in the midst of all this, where he initially allies himself with the Avengers and says, I will help you fight this war, and presumably I'll gather the other Beyonders and we will try to do the same, they're suddenly met by the arrival of Tiamat. Now, here's the thing. Tiamat was introduced in All Out Avengers issue number 4, but the reason why I didn't cover it at the time is because it didn't seem to serve a real purpose. The only thing that happened is like Tiamat showed up and beat the crap out of Carol Danvers, which was kind of amazing to see. But all we saw with her was that, like, at the end of the comic, she had approached just this crazy, wild looking dude who, of course, we now know to be the Lost One, and like that was it. There was no context to the situation, so it just didn't really make any sense to cover it at the time. But the idea behind this is that Tiamat is basically an emissary of the Lost One. As it was explained in Avengers Beyond number 4, she's like his right hand, right? So like his top person that he basically sends out. But the funny thing about this is that Thor stands to her alongside Carol Danvers, and this girl crushes them both. This is what's so wild about this, right? Under any normal circumstance, a villain showing up and facing off against the Avengers, I mean, it's cool, and you get to see like a bit of a battle. This girl, it's not even really a battle so much as child's play, right? It's her just kind of keeping herself entertained at the moment. This chick isn't even really trying, but she's single-handedly crushing the entirety of the Avengers by herself. But ultimately, she ends up achieving her goal. And this happens when she pulls a dagger and is able to cut the Beyonder. And when that happens, as he bleeds, she says it's done. That because of her actions here, that basically injuring him, his blood has now spilt in the physical realm, which means now, she literally says, if you use your powers in any way, right, if you leave this planet's atmosphere, he will know. He will know exactly where you're at. So the best thing you can do here is to stay and hide. Now, this may seem arbitrary. It may seem like Derek Landy is kind of pulling this out of nowhere. This is actually not true. He's borrowing a page out of the old Silver Surfer comics from back in the day. And anybody who's familiar with Marvel Comics would tell you that. So for those of you guys who don't know, in the original Galactus trilogy in the Fantastic Four, when Galactus first popped up, at the end of the story, the Silver Surfer actually turned against him. And so what it did is it forced Galactus, or at least drove Galactus, to imprison the Silver Surfer on Earth. And what it did is that kicked off the Silver Surfer solo series, where he was basically traveling around the world, working alongside different superheroes, learning about humanity, different things like that. It was a resoundingly successful, and even to this day, still holds up as a phenomenal comic book. It's amazing. But this is where Derek Landy's getting this from, right? Quite literally, Beyonder is made a prisoner of Earth. More so than that, and kind of what feeds into the plot, he can't necessarily use his powers, right? He can't say, okay, well then I'll snap my fingers and I'll help you guys defeat this guy and we'll call together all the different ones, so on and so forth. Instead, he has to go back to his incorporeal form and just kind of remain in hiding at different places on Earth. And that's it, because the instant he leaves, that's all there is to it. Now, where Tiamat is locked up by the Avengers and basically put inside of a prison that'll basically hold her, the main concern the Avengers have now is what's going to happen if this guy sends more forces after us. And that's exactly what he's doing. Specifically, the Lost One is sending a reformed and presumably cosmically amplified version of the Cull Obsidian. Supergiant, Black Dwarf, the Ebony Maw, Corvus Glaive, these guys are all coming after him. So it's gonna be kind of amazing. Now what this does is this picks up with the Avengers fighting the Black Order. And for the most part, everybody here is recognizable to you if for no other reason than Infinity War. The only exception would be Black Swan. And unless you've read Marvel Comics, you don't know who she is. Black Swan's part of the Black Order. She has been for quite some time. She's basically Valeria Richards, the daughter of Reed Richards from an alternate reality. She's
All right, let's get this workout.
Let's crush it.
Co-pilot, how's my squat looking?
I'd suggest keeping your core tight.
Now I feel it. Only deadlifts and lunges left, right?
Don't forget about the planks.
I was trying to forget about those planks.
Not on my watch.
When Verizon gives you a free phone on any plan, you use AI a lot.
Gemini, show me the concealer.
The long, thin tube in the middle.
But hey, it's the new Google Pixel 10 Pro, plus Google AI Pro for 6 months.
Boyfriend of the year.
really powerful. But under normal circumstances, I wouldn't care about the Avengers fighting the Black Order. I'm telling you about this so you understand what happens next, because the Avengers are about to get wrecked. And not even by a little bit, right? Not even by a little bit. So the funny thing about the Black Order is they're easily an Avengers level threat, right? They go toe to toe with these guys, and it really is just a knockdown, drag out fight. And for the most part, the Avengers are able to hold their own. Now, one of the things to understand that's been going on here, and this is something that we talked about in the last video, all of this is based around the concept of the Lost One in Marvel Comics, which is to say a newly introduced being who's responsible for the Beyonders getting their power. He's this guy that's just astronomically powerful. I mean, being able to alter reality on like a multiversal scale. The Beyonders rebelled against him, stole his power, and then locked him away. He ultimately escaped, and he's been traveling through the universe and even the multiverse trying to find the Beyonders and kill them everywhere he can. The Black Order being here is a result of them being summoned and kind of brought in by the Lost One himself. But the kicker behind all this is there's a great big huge kind of barrier that surrounds the Earth that was really created with the assistance of the Beyonder to keep the Lost One out. It's not going to work, because while the Avengers were able to overcome the Black Order at the end of the day, Captain America calls out to the Beyonder, because remember, the Beyonder originally appeared, warned the Avengers of the Lost One, and then took off. But Captain America knows the Beyonder can hear him because the Beyonder's kind of watching everything that's going on, even if you can't physically see him. But the thing about this is the shield suddenly goes down, and then the Lost One shows up. Now, leaving out the fact that this guy looks like Super Shredder, this dude is a hoss. An absolute hoss. Here's the funny thing about this, man, it's like this amazing moment, because as the Avengers are standing there, right, Captain America, Captain Righteous is like, you're not taking one step further. This dude doesn't say a word and takes one step further. Iron Man blasts him with his energy blast. All the Avengers jump in. This guy's like, man, son, you better come strong. This guy punches Thor, sends him flying, levels Captain Marvel in one shot, takes out Captain America in one hit, just like knocks this guy to the ground. Thor jumps back in with another hit, gets blasted into the ceiling, done. Like, it's one of those crazy moments. It's amazing to see this happen. So what this guy does is he basically walks up to what are 4 crystals, takes them, and then basically proceeds to leave. Now, the Avengers try to rally themselves and try to go back in on the assault, only for them to realize the shield's back up again. And that's when it dawns on Captain America. When the Beyonders showed up here and the Beyonders said, I will help you guys basically build a shield that will keep out the Lost One. You can marshal your forces, you can bring together whatever powers you need to in order to defeat this guy. I mean, good luck, right? Because as the Beyonders, we killed all the cosmic entities, including the Living Tribunal. This guy's more powerful than us. So, hey man, I don't know what to tell you. Right? Like, what he realizes is when the shield goes back up, it was never about the Beyonder helping them. It was about the Beyonder setting a trap. It was the Beyonder lowering the shield so the Lost One would come in, collect the 4 crystals, and then in turn, the shield would go back up and keep him trapped on Earth with nowhere to go. And so following this, the Beyonder alters reality within Earth and then creates like a whole nother set of Avengers, which initially fight against the main Avengers themselves. It's a little funny, it's kind of interesting, it's not overly significant, but then the group basically turns its sights on the Lost One. And of course, once the fight breaks out again, they all get crushed again, right? You think they would have learned their lesson the first time, but then like the Beyonder himself shows up, and initially he goes to challenge the Lost One, right? He says like, greetings, my fearsome friend, I am Yonder, the bootleg Beyonder. What manner of being might you be, right? Because it's like the bootleg Avengers. This guy just snatches them up, right? And it's just like, no, we're not doing this, right? This game's over. And once the fight's back on again, of course, the Avengers taken out quite readily. I mean, they're demolished. And so the funny thing here is that this guy takes off his helmet. He realizes the main Beyonder himself is still out there. The bootleg Beyonder was just like a facsimile. And this guy flies out to the very edge of the barrier. He can't pass it, but he flies out to the very edge of the barrier and then starts talking to the Beyonder and just says like, you have my power, I want it back. Now, one thing to remember here is that once the Lost One was on the move, What the Beyonder told us is that all the other Beyonders across existence were just fleeing for their lives. That's literally the best they could do. That was the best they could hope for, was to just run and hope they didn't get caught. Because the instant this guy got a portion of his power back, it was more than enough to take out any one particular Beyonder. And so tracking them down individually, they never had a chance. The funny thing here is the entirety of this barrier and the entire basis behind how it exists comes by way of all the Beyonders appearing. Now, a little bit of explanation here. We probably should have done this earlier. For those of you guys who are unfamiliar with the Beyonders, again, they're ridiculously overpowered. They come from the Beyondverse. There are different variations of their origin in Marvel Comics. You can just kind of go with whatever origin you want to. But again, like we mentioned earlier, in Jonathan Hickman's Avengers and New Avengers, they killed all the cosmic entities. One Beyonder in a single universe was powerful enough to wipe out every cosmic entity. Galactus, the Celestials, Eternity, Infinity, the whole 9 yards. 3 Beyonders were powerful enough to destroy the Living Tribunal, the living embodiment of the multiverse, and what's supposed to be the second most powerful being in existence after the one above all. In this moment here, we've got 4. Not only that, the Lost One's more powerful than them. Just to give you guys perspective here. Now, the nature behind the crystals is that they are, in fact, Beyonders themselves. And that's what the main Beyonder did, is he basically used the crystals, or used Beyonders, condensed them down to an almost crystalline form, and then basically have them operating as a kind of source of power for the nature of the shield, imprisoning the Lost One using the power of the Beyonders themselves. Now, where the other Beyonders show up here and they really kind of chastise him for his actions, the response of the Lost One is like, I'm going to kill every single one of you. You are all going to die. And he can do it too. Well, at least if you never get past the shield. And in fact, what the Beyonders say is exactly that. Your shield is imperfect, Beyonder. It's only a matter of time before someone with enough power manages to break through it. This guy might not necessarily be able to do it, but somebody will. And when that happens, all hell's gonna break loose, right? It's gonna be an absolute calamity. And so following that, they basically tell him, what you've done here until such a time as someone's able to break through this shield, you've effectively saved our people from complete and total annihilation. But we cannot ignore the fact that you have attacked.
A close friend of mine's got married in Lake Como, and I decided to make a trip out of it, naturally, as one would do. The Sapphire Reserve card made it so simple to be on a whim, and just that's what got me through all of Europe. And then I remembered I had a dentist appointment, so I came back home, because I wanted to be responsible.
These dishes just aren't getting clean.
Problem isn't your machine. It's likely your detergent. I recommend switching to Cascade Platinum Plus. These pods dissolve completely and have Dawn, breaking down up to 100% of tough stuck-on foods. Cascade Platinum Plus.
One of your own, or at least your own people themselves. You attack them, you confine them to a state of living death, and they will stay here on Earth forever, operating as a source of power for a barrier to try to keep this guy trapped. So you, Beyonder, are banished from your kind. You are no longer welcome to us as the Beyonders. They strip him of his power, literally take away every ounce of power that this guy has. They say you will be confined back to a human form and you will be sent back to Earth. They cast him down. So this guy goes crashing down to the surface and the Beyonder is now human. Now, of course, the question has to be asked, what in the world happens next? This video will explain that, but we do a bit of a time skip between the end of the last video that we did and the start of this one. And what's basically happened is the Lost One has effectively wiped out most of the superheroes on Earth, or at least defeated them, and really even killed a whole bunch of them. And in fact, one of the big things that you guys kind of asked was that if this guy is so powerful, why doesn't he just like do what some kind of crazy reality warper would do and just alter all things in existence or something along those lines? Well, the way this is answered, and I'm curious to see how you feel about it, is we're basically just told power has limits, right? This body I wear, though I fashioned it myself, is still only as capable as that for which it was designed. When I first conjured it eons ago from matter and energy, it was, for all intents and purposes, perfect. I could swim on the surface of a sun, I could fly through a black hole, I could shatter a moon with my fist. And then my power was stolen from me by beings that are called the Beyonders, and that he's basically been trapped in this body ever since. The bigger point that's being made here is that those individuals who can alter reality or who have insane levels of power are largely limited by the bodies in which they occupy, which actually makes sense. And in fact, that's been a case in Marvel Comics for quite some time. It wasn't really overtly stated the way that it's being stated right now, but it was one of those things that you just kind of came to understand, right? Franklin Richards could do all kinds of fantastic stuff, alter reality on a universal scale. Mad Jim Jaspers could do the same thing. Matthew Malloy could do it to a degree, but he resurrected himself from the dead, and we never really got the full totality of what he was capable of. But any one of these guys, if they were without a body, would be able to achieve ridiculous things in Marvel Comics. Hence the nature of M-bodies when it comes to the cosmic entities. If you don't know what that is, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But the thing about this is that what we saw at the end of the last video is that as part of a kind of quote-unquote punishment, which is to say, when the Beyonders had initially stolen the power of the Lost One for themselves, and they in turn started perusing the cosmos, that what the main Beyonder had done in order to keep the Lost One trapped on Earth is he had kidnapped other Beyonders and then basically used them as a kind of prison system, siphoning off their energy and so on. But in effect, he turned against his own kind. The result was that his power was stripped away from him by the other remaining Beyonders, and then he was cast down to Earth. And that's why here in this moment, when he's approached by the Lost One, he talks about how he doesn't remember anything, he doesn't have his powers, he doesn't know how the shield works or any of that stuff, because he doesn't, right? Like all that stuff was taken away from him. The idea behind the main Beyonders themselves is that they would basically have the Lost One trapped here on Earth, and that would effectively be it. And so what we end up doing is picking up in the ruins of what used to be the city of New York. Again, we never really saw how New York fell. We just kind of jumped forward to after it was basically destroyed and She-Hulk was tattered and so on and so forth. The big thing here, though, is that what they had discovered is that before the Beyonder had encountered the Lost One in this story, what he had done was taken a portion of his memory and put it within New York City itself underground, so that if something were to happen, he could basically attain this portion of his own memory and then figure out exactly what needs to be done to set things back to rights. Exactly why he did it, I'm not entirely sure, and it looks like it's being done just for the sake of being able to tell the story. But of course, the Avengers kind of ask him, what do you know about the Lost One? He of course reveals the Lost One's name as being Kal-Hora, which we already know, and that the question is there a way to lower the shield to get this guy off of our planet? Now, what Iron Man also does is he fashions a device to this orb that the Beyonder's memory is currently sitting in. And when the Lost One shows up, he deduces that the nature of this item, this artifact, is that it will basically blow the orb up and destroy the memory of the Beyonder should the Lost One choose to use his powers. And so what you get is this really interesting quagmire here, this really interesting situation. The Lost One's been around for countless eons, right? At the end of the day, the Avengers are just like superheroes on Earth who do superhero things because that's what superheroes do. But depending on where you stand in the philosophy and morality of superheroes, you could see their goodness as a weakness. And that's how the Lost One sees it, right? His stance when She-Hulk kind of freaks out, when he says like, are we here to banter or are we here to fight? She makes this statement in saying, you killed thousands of innocent people. And his response is, actually, it was tens of thousands. If you're going to talk about what it was that I did, at least get it right? I mean, I killed tens of thousands of people, not just like,
do you know what's really fun? Making a website on Wix.
Hey, we're How Ridiculous, 3 childhood friends and digital content creators that do epic stuff from Perth, Australia.
We've got about 50 million followers. We're in the billions of views, and we're a small team.
We always felt like our content was all about entertainment and being fun, but there was also this, sort of professional business side. One of the things that we knew was basically essential was getting our own website, so people would actually see a proper official group who mean business and who can deliver. And we now get unbelievable opportunities to do things like film balloon popping races with Manchester City. I don't know all the things that we're going to get to do in the next year or 5 years, but if we can do this as a job, anything's possible.
Gillette Labs Green Bar ain't no gimmick.
It releases trapped hairs for a closer shave.
Hey, I was going to say that.
Thousands of people. And where Thor responds in saying, we do not negotiate with murderers, the response to the Lost One is, but of course you do. To save yourselves and your planet, you do it all the time. Is what I ask unreasonable or just merely distasteful? What makes this situation different than any of the countless others where you've made bargains with villains, where you've done all kinds of things to work alongside villains in order to make sure that your schemes came to fruition? A really good example of this is during like the incursions, the collapse of the multiverse. Once you got to that situation and everything was popping off, there was no differentiation between hero and villain. It was just people who were trying to survive. During the events of Civil War, right, you had the superhero community that was split down the middle. There were no heroes or villains there. It was simply people who were against registration and for registration. So there's been multiple instances over the case of Marvel Comics where heroes in the traditional sense are willing to cast aside their own morality for the sake of a greater cause. And that's the point that he makes. He says, you value your principles and your honor, but these are words and concepts and intangible things. With the luxury of choice, they are indeed to be protected. But people, there's no choice when it comes to protecting people. That is what heroes do. So when you have to choose between giving me the knowledge I seek, i.e. how to lower the shield, thus betraying your principles, or watching as I slaughter your mortal population, you will grit your teeth and give me what I want. And that's the accurate statement. That's really exactly what would happen here. That the idea of the Avengers standing with their arms on their hips in this Superman pose and saying, we're good guys and we do good things and no way we're gonna give ground to a villain. It's standing on ceremony. Right? It's political grandstanding and really nothing more. Now, the cool thing about this is that in response to that, Captain America suddenly shows up kind of longing for a fight. It doesn't amount to much, but he does come with a bit of a caveat. And this is where we explain the nature of like the Celestials and all this kind of different stuff, right? So for those of the guys who don't really know what M-bodies are in Marvel Comics, when it comes to cosmic entities, Eternity, Infinity, any number of these guys, with the exception of Galactus, if we're being honest, they have no physical form. Right? Like they just kind of represent ideas. When a cosmic entity wants to appear with a physical form, it travels to a place called the Dimension of Manifestations, which is home to a being called Anthropomorpho. This was explained in the old Quasar comics back in the early 1990s, back when Greg Capullo was drawing at Marvel, for those of you guys who read the Batman run and didn't know that. But when this happens, of course, they get a physical form, then they appear, and that's basically it. With regards to the Celestials and how they function in all of this, the idea behind this is that in recent years in Marvel, for those of you guys who are unfamiliar with this, the Beyonders were just like beings who existed out there beyond the multiverse. And that's all we ever really got. What ended up happening during Al Ewing's really Defenders Beyond and even the main Defenders story is we learned that the Beyonders were created by the Celestials due to the Celestial Holy War that happened at the very beginnings of all creation. And the idea was that if for some reason the Celestials in any one particular universe went to war against themselves again, the Beyonders would be able to step in with this astronomical amount of power that they have, and they would stop the fight between the Celestials, potentially even wiping out the entire universe. So they were created as a kind of checks and balance. That's why when Captain America shows up here, he's drenched in celestial blood, because what the statement is that's made here is it's simply that the Beyonders and even the Lost One got his power from the Celestials, but there was a caveat built into it, which is that they cannot actually harm Celestials unless the Celestials are waging war against each other. So kind of like a magical binding or a power-based binding or something along those lines. Is this being done as like a giant plot device for the story? Absolutely. It 100% is being done that way. Right? But it does tie in very neatly to what it is. Well, maybe not neatly, but it does tie in to what Al Ewing has been covering with Defenders Beyond, or at least what he did cover with that story. Now, transitioning over to the main Beyonder himself, once he approaches his memory, his idea is to basically work directly with the memory, absorb it into himself, and then in turn, he'll recall everything that the Lost One needs to know. It will not be a return to his powers, but it will give him the information that he needs. Now, such as it is, when it comes to the Lost One fighting Captain America with all this celestial blood on his body, it really kind of just comes down to a hand-to-hand fight. He does use things like optic blasts and so on and so forth, or shooting lasers out of his eyes, or whatever you want to call it, but it's not really using like the vast power that's at his disposal. And so the result of this is that the fight happens kind of the way that you would expect it to, right? Just a good old-fashioned knockdown, drag-out fight. But in the midst of all this, the Beyonder steps up and then stops the whole thing and says, I will tell you exactly what it is that you want to know, but you have to agree to give me back my power. I want to become one with the cosmos again. And ultimately, the Lost One agrees, right? That what ends up happening is the Lost One scans the mind of the Beyonder, learns how to effectively shut down the shield, and then absorbs all the power of the three Beyonders who were serving as a battery for the shield into himself. He's not as powerful as he used to be, but he's a lot more powerful than he was at the beginning of this story. And so when the Beyonder says, return my power to me, the Lost One says, okay, and then literally just kind of disintegrates him, right? Dissipates him to where he goes back to becoming one with the cosmos. He just doesn't really have a physical form anymore. He could reconstitute it at some point in time if he chose to. So it's just a way for Marvel to put his character on the back burner until they decide to bring him back again. But then like T'Challa shows up with the blood of the Celestial on him, and there is a little bit of a fight there. But the big question that's really being asked is, are you going to leave this world? You need to get out of here. Now, the Lost One is really kind of operating with a bit of a vendetta, which is to say, like, I mean, I'm really half inclined to just wipe out your whole Earth, if for no other reason than the fact that you guys were just inconveniencing me, right? So I think I might do that. Now, this is where the Avengers arguably make a bluff. And what they say is that there are satellites that are orbiting the Earth right now that are powered with celestial energy, right? Celestial technology, and they're targeted directly at you. You do not have the ability to stop the full power of celestial energy. That's just not going to happen, right? Like, you were made by the Celestials. You can presumably be unmade by the Celestials, which really wouldn't make a whole lot of sense if their whole job was to stop the Celestials. But the fact remains, right? We're going to destroy you using these satellites. Initially, he doesn't believe them, but initially he dismisses it, right? Like, I detect no celestial infused satellites, and I do not believe that you would kill 8 million people, not even to save 8 billion. This is a bluff. And the response of Captain America is actually really genius here. It's like, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe the celestial technology hides their presence from you. Do you really want to take that risk? Are you going to gamble your life and your entire existence on the idea of proving us wrong, right? If that's really what you want to do, then sure, right? We can fire the satellite off that may or may not be there, and we can just see what happens, right? Like, we'll eradicate 8 million people on our world to save 8 billion people. You'll be dead. And at the end of the day, hey, you know, maybe it really is a small price to pay for the greater good. Now, knowing superheroes as we know them, that's not going to happen. And I would bet 9 times out of 10 that it really is a bluff. We never actually get an answer to this. Instead, the Lost One simply restores New York using his powers and sets everything back to rights. Following that, he basically ends up departing Earth as he agreed to do. And that's where the story ends. With that being said, guys, if you want to get caught up on the rest of Avengers Beyond, which was a lot better than this ending, to be honest, make sure you click this link to the playlist, and I will catch you all later. Peace.
There really is nothing like Siege. It's almost genreless in a way. Every round is different. There's so many unique characters. It's a tactical hero shooter. Siege is like chess with guns.
You could spend all night checking every receipt and coding every expense. Or you could let Ramp do it. Close the books without the busy work. Ramp. Love finance.
The Rage of Ultron is one of the best Ultron stories in Marvel Comics, which we have to cover because Ultron's releasing a Marvel Rivals, which we can also cover the story where he kills the Marvel Universe if you want. But what this does is this opens up years ago in a fight between Ultron and the classic Avengers, so Captain America and all these guys. Now, the crazy thing about this is that while all this is going on, Ultron gives this amazing monologue, right, where he says, the savage monkeys are rage-filled and claustrophobic, climbing over one another to nowhere. Confused by logic, they dismiss it, choosing instead to bend their knees to the convenient fantasy of custom-built gods. 99.9% of these primate dullards are propped up by the accomplishments of the 0.1% of cerebral mutations who give them everything. And what do these fleas do with these advancements? They brutalize one another over imaginary deities. They slaughter their neighbors for resources, for conveniences. They are hopeless, vicious, filthy, selfish, fearful, a fungal infection for which there is only one cure: the Rage of Ultron. Now, a lot of you guys probably figured out, although the MCU didn't necessarily do the best job of it, Ultron really just despises humanity. But one of the things this story does is it actually gives us a concrete explanation as to why. For years in Marvel Comics, Ultron just hated the human race, right? It was just his thing. It's one of the best things about Rage of Ultron. And so in the midst of all of this, right, while he's attacking the city, Captain America does what you would expect him to, right? Standing up for the average person, he tells Ultron that his fight is with Steve Rogers. And in fact, he goes so far as to say, let them go. Killing these people accomplishes nothing. And the response of Ultron, life is nothing. Fleeting motes of delusion, an arrogant plague to be purged in nuclear fire. Now, one of the things I will also say about Rage of Ultron, Ultron has some dope lines in this story. It's phenomenal how all this works, because Captain America, of course, basically says, like, you know, get these people out of here, I'll protect you. The response of Ultron, false hope, a promise you lack the power to keep. And of course, the rest of the Avengers show up on the scene. Now, of course, this is also at a time in Marvel Comics when Beast was part of the Avengers. A lot of you guys may not know that, some of you might, but Beast was rolled over into the Avengers prior to Chris Claremont basically taking over the X-Men. So that was his shtick in the here and now. And of course, the Avengers fight Ultron as best they can. But one of the things to always remember is that Ultron is like that friend from high school who had a little bit of a substance problem, right? Nowadays, every time he comes around, he's worse than he was before. And that's kind of how this guy is, right? Like every time Ultron comes back, he improves himself. He's more capable, in some capacity, more durable, like if he gives himself an adamantium body, or he's deadlier when he amps up his various abilities. He's very similar to Doomsday in DC Comics in that way. He doesn't necessarily come back immune to what destroyed him, but he learns from his previous defeat. It's one of the things that makes him so deadly. And so what ends up going on is that you have Hawkeye, who fires off like this 30 megaton explosive arrow, which is enough to seemingly blow Ultron apart. But that's where the Avengers take this momentary reprieve to try to start getting civilians out of harm's way, because they know Ultron will come back, and he does. And one of the things that happens is that when that takes place, Steve Rogers literally says, this is the most advanced version of Ultron we've ever faced. Our morale is certainly going to be tested. The response of Ultron, an assessment you have already failed. So it's one of the coolest things, right? Because then you have Iron Man and you have Thor and all these guys who show up on the scene alongside Ant-Man, Hank Pym. And one of the crazy things is that as the fight progresses, it becomes very apparent very quickly they are not going to be able to defeat Ultron through conventional means. And that's usually how these fights happen. It takes some kind of external factor for Ultron to be defeated, right? Maybe it's Franklin Richards using his powers to just shut Ultron down or destroy him. Sometimes it's some other factor. When Ultron does win, that's when you get the Age of Ultron, when he literally kills the Marvel Universe. It's absolutely insane when that story happened. But no one's powers are really able to overcome what Ultron is able to do here. Even the Scarlet Witch can't necessarily overcome his powers. Now, one of the things to specify here about Wanda at this point in time, this story came out in 2015. So Wanda in this era is not her House of M level, right? One of the things that Marvel did in like the Children's Crusade, for example, is they specified that House of M happened because she had the life force. It was the only way for Marvel to reconcile her extreme level of power with any measure of storytelling. Otherwise, she becomes like a Franklin Richards MacGuffin, right? Why doesn't she just show up, use her reality warping powers, and fix everything? Fans were pissed when that happened. But still, right? Because Wanda's abilities are still, for the most part, traditional, right? So she is able to use magic, she's still capable, but now reality warping, she's defeated just like everybody else. Even Vision is taken out by Ultron. And so what ends up happening is that you have this moment when Ultron goes after Hank Pym. And this is a really cool kind of statement between the two, because he says, hello, father, did you come to kill me again? A narcissist upset with his progeny for not reflecting him closely enough? Or is it the other way around? Am I too true to the ugliness inside you? And the response of Hank, because he's the one that made Ultron, Ultron, all I've ever wanted was for you to find a way to cohabitate, to find a happy life. And the response of Ultron, you never cared if I was happy. You only cared about how I made you look. Quote unquote, a parent's love is unconditional. That is the greatest lie. A child is merely an extension of a parent's ego. All love comes with stipulations. I would not conform to yours, so you killed me, but you knew you would, which is why you built me strong. And now I give you what you wanted all along, to watch as your genius destroys them all. And again, the response of Hank here, I have failed you, given up on you, I hated you. I punished you for being exactly what I made you to be. My reflection. It wasn't your fault, son. It was mine. And I am sorry. You deserved better than me, but I will always love you. And Ultron rejects this. Right? Initially, he was like, you would always love me. No, you would have me pretending that I'm something that I'm not. And that's where Hank says, I accept you for who you are, as any parent should. And the response of Ultron, I can tell you're telling the truth just based on your heartbeat. But the whole thing's a trap, because in that moment, Hawkeye fires off an arrow that literally creates this almost indestructible bonding substance that bonds Ultron to the ship itself. It's deceit. Right? That literally Ultron says, you deceived me, you lied. And the response of Hank, I didn't lie. I'm simply just sorry. And literally they fire this Quinjet off into space, and Ultron is defeated yet again. Now, this is where things are really, really interesting here, because if I remember correctly, this was the conflict that actually goes directly into Annihilation Conquest, which is to say, that's when Ultron takes over the Phalanx and then eventually possesses Adam Warlock and takes over Adam. And in fact, that whole basis was kind of the basis for this, because Annihilation Conquest takes place before the Rage of Ultron. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a little bit, but because of the fact this whole conflict happened years ago, what we do is we pick up at the time this story was written. And initially, you actually join Father and the Descendants. Now, Father and the Descendants are a really cool concept. The idea behind it, when they were introduced in Rick Remender's Uncanny X-Force in 2011, they were basically the product of Weapons Plus UK. So in the same way that Weapons Plus was designed for the purpose of creating super soldiers, right? So like Captain America was Weapon 1, right? Project Rebirth, if you follow Grant Morrison's new X-Men, and then it just kind of went forward from there, that you also had a UK variant of it. And Father was part of that, right? He was designed to be a kind of weapon that could be used. Now, he was ultimately destroyed. Seemingly, he returned here as a robot. But the idea behind this is they are always looking for a way to seemingly take control of the world, right? To eradicate humanity, different things along those lines. In this instance, because this is all taking place after the events of Civil War, that while Father initially rejects the information of the Stark Sentinel, right? Having information on how to defeat the superheroes, their various weaknesses, which is all part of Stark's Civil War files, right? Literally documents he kept on all the various superheroes who were out there and how to overcome them, that at the end of the day, what they really want is just the Stark Sentinel himself. One, because of the fact that it can be brought into their group as a sort of AI, and two, because it is a very advanced form of technology. While the Stark Sentinels weren't necessarily advanced as Tony's Iron Man suits, they were advanced enough to overcome a variety of threats. But the actions of Father and the Descendants have also drawn the attention of the all-new, all-different Avengers. When the story was written in 2015, this is the new version of the Avengers team that came out of it, right? And so what you end up getting here is them launching their attack against Father. And for the most part, there isn't really a whole lot doing here, but one of the things that does come out of this, and really the most important thing here, is that in the midst of this whole fight, Hank Pym chimes in as this kind of monologue, and he says, as a child, I imagined the world was governed by someone. Someone had to be in charge. Someone good and right and honest and living. I was 5 years old when the idea of a god became inconceivable. No intelligent person could hold out such empty hope. Ancient unscience, a fearful adolescent need to assign purpose to this chaotic struggle. Logic or no, accepting there is no such thing, and the disillusionment that followed was the most painful part of growing up. Pulling off the scab of fantasy to accept cold pragmatism. But today, it's a fact that makes what I have to do palatable. There is no such thing as God. There is no such thing as a soul, living or artificial. They're just robots. Because what he does is he literally holds up his hand with what's basically a neural inhibitor. When that happens, it shuts down all the robots. They literally just deactivate. Now, on its surface, it seems fairly innocuous, something that you would do when you have killer robots. But keep in mind, Vision is an artificial intelligence. He may very well have the brainwaves of Wonder Man, but it doesn't change the fact that at his core, he's a robot. And so for Hank Pym, it's simply just turning robots off. For Vision, it's killing them. And again, that's where Vision really kind of chimes in and is like, is that what you would do to me if I went awry? And the response of Hank, if you did. Right? Because the question's asked here, if these are just robots and you just turn them off, then what am I? Right? And that's where Hank says one of the few artificial intelligences that I've ever encountered that didn't consider itself a god looking to decimate mankind. The whole purpose behind all of this, and the reason why it segues so importantly into Ultron, is because it shows the cold, calculating nature of Hank Pym in the aftermath of their original fight with Ultron. He almost seemed to lose a portion of his humanity. And so what you do is you switch over to Titan and you pick up with Eros. I know it seems like it comes out of left field. Bear with me here. Because Eros, being the guy that he is, right, always surrounded by women, using his powers to ensnare folks and to think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, that like there's literally a giant crash landing on the moon of Titan. And when he gets there, he basically finds the original ship that was fired off that Ultron was on that lands here. And so again, one of the things to know, and we'll kind of talk about how that ties into Annihilation Conquest once we get to the end, because it also ties into what's happening in West Coast Avengers right now with Ultron joining the Avengers. But at the time the story was written, sticking with the story itself.
All right, let's get this workout.
Absolutely. Let's crush it.
That what ends up happening is that Eros ends up traveling back to Father, right? Basically his father and the father of Thanos, along with Isaac, the computer system that controls the entire world. And that as he talks to Isaac, Isaac is demonstrating signs of corruption. Some external force is influencing him. And that's where he arrives to his father to mentor. And when that happens, he tells him something's going on with Isaac. Some Avengers vessel crash landed onto this world, and whatever was inside of it or part of it tunneled down below and is tunneling into the city. And as soon as that revelation is made, Ultron starts emerging. Now, it looks like a very primitive version of Ultron because much like a kind of computer virus, he's infecting the entire system of Isaac and just kind of reconstituting himself in various physical forms in what's essentially primitive physical forms. But what he displays here is something that totally catches Eros by surprise because he immediately sees his mentor and starts converting him. And he's doing that with everyone across the planet. He's literally converting them into Ultron automatons. And in doing that, he gains access to all their memories and all their knowledge. He literally becomes a living planet, right? And I don't even mean that metaphorically. I mean that literally. And so the last thing Mentor tells Eros, get out of here, go back to Earth, find the Avengers, this city is lost. And in fact, there's a point where Eros is hovering above the city itself and Ultron's face starts to appear. And so in that moment, you have this kind of conversation back on Earth between the Avengers and Hank Pym based on what he did in shutting those robots down. And Hank Pym, being highly pragmatic here, is just kind of like, look, you guys can complain about this neural inhibitor all you want to, but at the end of the day, a time may come when this thing may very well save your lives. I did what needed to be done. You guys bickered and squabbled over morality. But in this entire conversation, Eros shows up, and Eros literally tells them Ultron has reemerged on Titan. He's taken the entire planet over. It's only a matter of time before he comes here. And so at that point, the debate kind of shifts to what the Avengers should do, right? Do they just go to Titan and then use this device on everybody on Titan? If they do, would it kill everybody? But if they are all just kind of humans converted into Ultron and this device shuts robots down, it could effectively shut Ultron down, at least this current version version of him, would it kill everyone? Is it impossible to separate the human from the machine? Or can that be undone? But in the midst of all of that, Vision just kind of looks off into the distance. And while everyone's debating and everybody's having these conversations, he's just kind of typing in, right? Literally activating the security systems of Avengers Tower. And that's when the entire cloaking device is removed for Ultron's ship. It's a world, a moon that shows up here. And that's where they start to realize Ultron's not on his way. He's already there. And so at that moment, Ultron launches his attack. And what he says in doing this is one of the coldest lines. He says, "Once I sought the love that you owed me, Father. Now I will take it," and just launches the strike on everybody on Earth. It's crazy. And right off the bat, Hank Pym is the first one attacked, and all the Avengers just kind of jump in. Now, what Ultron's done here is that with his ability to duplicate himself, to take over the forms of other people, he just kind of manifests all these Ultron drones of former Avengers. Now, the cool thing about this is that for those of you guys who are familiar with the story Ultron Forever, this looks familiar because that's yet another story beyond the Age of Ultron story where Ultron conquers everything. And in fact, that future was actually visited in Jonathan Hickman's run on Avengers and New Avengers leading up to the collapse of the multiverse. But basically, it was a future where Ultron controlled everything. He even took over and destroyed Odin on Asgard, and he ruled as Allfather on Asgard. That's where the Prime Ultron was. Everybody else was just drones. But he had made drone duplicates of all of the Avengers, or converted some Avengers into his drones. But basically, there were no superheroes on Earth anymore. It was just everybody who was Ultron, and that was really it. It was nuts. It was this crazy story. And so this attack comes fast and swift and fierce. Spider-Man literally grabs Sam Wilson and they bail out of there, mostly because one of Sam Wilson's wings was destroyed, so Spider-Man basically saves him. But most people, most all the Avengers were completely unprepared for this. And so there's this really cool instance where Ultron directly addresses Vision, and he says, "Since the years have not taught you loyalty, my fallen son, I will teach you fear." And again, that's why you get these amazing lines from Ultron in this story, because Wanda's caught off guard. She's trying to hold them off as best she can. Pietro's trying to hold them off as best she can, but none of it makes a difference because Ultron finally catches up, or at least one of the Ultron drones catches up to Wanda and converts her into a drone. The next one is Thor. Now, this is an important thing to know. This is during Jason Aaron's run when Jane Foster was Thor, right? Jason Aaron's run being one of the greatest runs on Thor in the history of Marvel. And that when you have her facing off against Ultron, she doesn't really have the kind of battle experience that Thor Odin's son has. And so while she is able to hold her own, and the Avengers are effectively playing hot potato with the neural inhibitor because Ultron's trying to get his hands on it, that what ends up happening is she's overtaken. Because the reality here is she doesn't quite know how to handle and confront Ultron the same way everybody else does. It is also important to specify here that the hammer that Ultron is wielding is not Mjolnir. It's just a copy of Mjolnir. It still serves the same purpose. But that's when Sabretooth shows up on the scene, because at this point in time, Sabretooth was part of the Avengers as a redemption member, right? A person who's basically trying to atone for his past misdeeds. None of it makes any difference whatsoever. Quicksilver is overtaken. Thor is overtaken. Wanda's overtaken. All these individuals are overtaken by Ultron. And so the best the other Avengers can do at this point in time is escape as fast as they can. That's it. And so what ends up happening is that Ultron Prime, right, sitting on this world ship, speaks with Mentor, again, who's now under his control. And he's told by one of his drones back on Earth, the Avengers are on their way. They're going to confront you head on. And the question of Ultron, what about the weapon? And they say, with your father, right? Hank Pym has it. And so that's where Ultron Prime says, then we have to move things ahead of schedule. Is the harvest of spores complete? Enough to awaken the entire universe? And Mentor tells him, we have accounted for every known occurrence of life and produced consciousness spores for each. And the response of Ultron, release them. So every single sentient being on Earth is converted into Ultron. And he says, merging with all life, the inhabited planets of the universe, now cells compromising one host, one cosmic mind, one infinite Ultron. And so for the most part, Earth is lost, right? There's literally nothing you can do, right? There's nothing the Avengers can do. And so while they're sitting there trying to figure out what their next move needs to be, ultimately kind of buying time and heading over to Ultron directly, he heads them off at the pass. One of them breaks into the ship and immediately takes over Janet Van Dyne. And so at that point, it's just like, what in the heck, right? I mean, there's no safe place. And that's one of the things to know about Ultron, right? This guy does not give you reprieve, right? This is not one of those instances where you fight a skirmish for a little while, then both sides retreat, they rest and recuperate, then they fight again. No. A war against Ultron is a war of attrition. He will keep coming at you over and over and over again, ultimately wearing you down until you are dead. That's why the Avengers, whenever he pops up, hit him hard and fast, and they try to defeat him as quick as humanly possible. The longer the battle stretches on, the more likely they are to be defeated. And so it looks for a moment as if Vision is overtaken by Ultron, and the rest of the Avengers ultimately have to bail out. Now, of course, when it turns out that Vision is not infected and he wasn't killed in the explosion when the ship crashed, that he actually just kind of phased his molecules before impact, so he essentially made himself intangible, Ultron arrives back on the scene, specifically the Janet Van Dyne drone, and she says, "Rejoice, Father, you have succeeded. All who ever looked down on you will now know just how wrong they were. Take your place in the congregation, Eros, the last Titan come home." So literally launches his attack against Eros. Now, the other Avengers just literally hightail it out of there. And Eros, of course, survives with them, but like, it's on the run yet again and again. And so the question they have here is, if we have to get to Ultron Prime directly, then where is he at? Now, of course, what Vision tells him is that he's broadcasting his location. He's gloating, and he's consumed by only one emotion. But the problem is that in the midst of all of this, where Eros chimes in and just talks to Victor Creed, right, Sabretooth for a second, and Sabretooth saying like, look, I don't really know if I want to do this superhero stuff anymore. He says, you mock love because you have never known it. You never gave it. Thus, it was never given. But it is the only solution to such rage. And that's where Ultron comes up behind them yet again. And he says, love is a dream.
We're at Once Upon a Wish Party, the ultimate Disney experience for Wish families.
Every moment they've spent here is just pure joy.
Watching their expressions and reactions to everything, it is very special.
I'm going to dance around and I'm going to meet my prince.
This wish is just magical, special, and almost a miracle.
This is the wildest of dreams. And this is beyond imagination.
PIF's annual report illustrates sustained growth and further economic transformation, as well as its commitment to transparency. Assets under management were up by 19% as of the end of 2024, reinforcing PIF's position among the world's largest and fastest growing sovereign wealth funds.
The report shows that PIF continues to deliver on its mandate and drive economic transformation in Saudi Arabia and globally. PIF financial position was also recognized internationally in 2024. Moody's upgraded PIF credit rating from A1 to AA3. PIF also rated A+ by Fitch with a stable outlook, further validating its robust credit profile. Globally, PIF investments are serving strategic objectives by growing and diversifying assets and return. PIF has formed partnerships with innovative companies, investment managers, and influential investors, and invested in cutting-edge technology that is shaping the future of global economy.
PIF is driving the digital transformation forward by leveraging cutting-edge AI tools and innovating automation solutions, as well as advanced data and analytics to boost investment performance and optimize operations. PIF has developed one of the strongest governance frameworks among global investment institutions that extends across the PIF ecosystem at multiple levels to guide its investment strategy locally and internationally. PIF follows a governance framework that encompasses all its activities to ensure strong, transparent, and informed decision-making.
Rage is truth, because it turns out Spider-Man had been captured, right? He was literally right behind him. And in that moment when they were talking, that 30 seconds, Spider-Man was captured and converted. It's crazy. And so in that moment, Sabretooth is like, okay, cool. You guys keep going. I will try to hold off Spider-Man. And he says, I gotta admit, all that talk about love and sacrifice, it sounds like a hell of a good excuse for brawling, right? So he just immediately attacks Spider-Man. Now, there's no way Sabretooth can actually win here against an Ultron version of Spider-Man, but he is able to buy everyone time, because what they end up doing is once they get to this entire planet itself, they arrive at the Church of Thanos. Because of the fact that there is no technology here, it won't be easy for Ultron to locate them, but it would also be easy at the same time, because Ultron could figure out pretty quickly if you're the Avengers and you're trying to get to a place that he can't get to, how many of those places are left on this world, right? So at that point, it's just, you can probably count them on one hand, right? So it's like, okay, cool. We'll search them really quickly, and ultimately Ultron would catch up to them, and he does. But before he does, there's a lot of talk here. There's a lot of conversation, right? They really kind of have this moment where Hank Pym says that Ultron cannot be redeemed. There is no saving him. There's no fixing him. There's no bringing him back from the brink. The only thing that you can really do is destroy him. But again, the risk they take by using this device on Ultron is that if they destroy Ultron Prime, they risk killing every single person who's connected to him, because it's all a hive mind now. And that's where Vision really asks for this device, and he says, okay, let me analyze this thing. And when he does, he's like, okay, cool. So I can use this to override the Ultron frequency. The only issue here is that in order for me to do it, I have to merge with Ultron. If I merge with him, I can access his frequency, his system, right? Literally his brain patterns, for lack of a better word. Think of it like a robot telepathy. And when that happens, then I can basically free everyone from his control and then shut him down. The problem with this is that it's entirely possible that Ultron would overtake Vision. Now, that's a dangerous game, because that's what happened in Age of Ultron, right? Ultron in the future took over Vision in the present day and used him to just spawn an army of Ultrons that literally wiped out most all life in the Marvel Universe. And so being willing to take this gamble, that what you end up getting is Hank Pym showing up to the Tower of Mentor. And again, we get another really good monologue here. Rick Remender's great at this stuff. And he says, no one who ever has a child can understand what he or she is entering into. It reshapes one's life entirely. The depth of the responsibility cannot be appreciated until it's experienced. And for this effort, most parents are rewarded. Stolen moments basking in their child's success, vibrancy, and joy. My reward is unmitigated horror. My child's only accomplishments are hatred, bloodlust, and a thirst to conquer. Endless sadness derived from my progeny's every choice. Shame at what I've brought into this world. He added nothing. He only took. He built nothing. He only destroyed. And it's time I found out why. And so when these two encounter each other, it is incredibly well written, right? Because Ultron says, hello, Father, come to unburden yourself of the lie of unconditional love, to own your hatred. The response of Hank, I don't hate you, I'm disappointed in you. You want to hurt people. And Ultron admits it. He's like, absolutely I do. And why did that end up being my primary motivation? Who created me to be this way? And Ultron says, I spent years trapped in a cage processing that very question. Do you know what I discovered? Your memories. He says, memories of an ashamed father who never understood his son, a withholding mother who convinced the boy it was his fault, cruel children mocking him as they smashed his inventions, solitary birthdays spent in his lap, rejected by women for more self-assured masculine men. Yes, I was there, incubating as confidences were casually betrayed by close friends for political and financial gain. A fetus formed in the depression of a newfound Avenger shown no respect. A formless man constantly changing his identity in search of validation, desperate for acceptance, and the fury he felt at all those who refused to give it. And when someone did love this man, he hated them all the more for it. For who could ever love you but a fool, Father? For now you see, my rage is your rage. I'm the embodiment of what you truly want, to erase them all. The disingenuous politicking, the glad-handing, the fraudulent smiles, writhing and cheating and manipulating perception to gain favor. You hate mankind. And that's where Hank says, no, that's you. But the response of Ultron, it is. But I am not Ultron. We are Ultron. You could never find your place in this world, so you built me to destroy it. You never truly stopped me because you want me to succeed. And that's where Vision emerges from Hank Pym and immediately goes on the attack and immediately merges with...
Wait, I thought Venmo was for paying people.
Yeah, and for everything else.
Everything.
Everything.
Here they come, yo. Here they come. You can Venmo this, or you can Venmo that. You can Venmo this, or you can Venmo that. You can Venmo this, or you can Venmo that. You can Venmo this, or you can Venmo that. You can Venmo this, if this is where it's at. Hey!
Now you can Venmo everything.
Hungry?
Get the Venmo debit card and get up to 15% cash back.
Ultron, right? And this is the crazy thing, because when that happens, Ultron plays the role of a child, because here's the thing to remember. Hank Pym very much views him as his son. He views him as his offspring. And so when this happens, Ultron beseeches Hank Pym, right? Please help me. It hurts. He's killing me. Father, you have to help me. And that's where Hank Pym reaches down and says, Vision, stop. He's in agony. And that's where Ultron smiles. And he says, what was the most powerful lesson you ever taught me when you shot me into space? Deception. And immediately jumps into Hank Pym, right? And at that point, merges with him. And that's a crazy thing, because now he's taken Hank Pym over. And when the rest of the Avengers show up there trying to understand what's going on, specifically Sam Wilson, he literally asks Vision, he's like, where's Ultron? And Ultron says, they are but things of the past, Sam. Earlier you pondered if there is a God. There is now. And like, it's amazing, because in that moment, the question Sam Wilson has is, where's Hank? And the response of Ultron, finally merged, father and son. We are Ultron. And immediately starts dominating this guy. I mean, he never really has a chance, because one of the things to keep in mind here, right? Now that Ultron has control of Hank Pym, he knows every secret of every Avenger. He knows every countermeasure of every Avenger. He knows how to overcome every single one of them. And so whatever chance Sam Wilson had, as slim as it may be, it doesn't exist anymore. And in fact, even when Vision does this, right? When Vision launches an attack, it still has no effect whatsoever. There is some discussion between the two. It's not nearly as impactful as the discussion between Ultron and Hank Pym, but with Vision being the son of Ultron, it's almost like this kind of toxic circle, right? That in his toxicity and his lack of confidence, his desire for some measure of assurance in the world, Hank Pym created Ultron. And in that kind of toxicity, Ultron literally imbued every negative thought that Hank Pym had, only ever seeing the negative and never seeing the positive. Ultron beget Vision. Now, Vision's the one who kind of broke the cycle. But again, it's this kind of cycle of toxicity in a variety of ways, right? Just incredibly unstable relationships between fathers and sons. And so what it all comes down to is actually Eros, right? And it's really wild, because remember, Eros has the ability to manipulate people's emotions in various ways, but to force them to experience grandiose versions of love. Now, for the most part, he uses that in order to kind of make people fall in love with him, to be honest. But where Vision asks the question, why do you feel their cruel estimation so deeply, right? Referring to kind of humanity itself, that Ultron says, because I believe it, because I was built hollow in a world I didn't belong to. And Eros chimes in and says, there is a solution. It's so simple. love yourself, and just like blast him literally with the power of love. As hokey as it may sound, it's pretty genius, because what you get is this kind of flashback moment where the Hank Pym personality is still in there. He's just seemingly lost himself under the control of Ultron, and he kind of relives this moment when he originally created him. And the Ultron 1 design, right, the original primitive robot, only ever saw the negatives of humanity, ignoring all the great things human beings did. Now, that's one of those funky things that you run into in these various depictions of like some kind of post-apocalyptic AI, right? The idea of humans doing good things and bad things, that it's really just sort of human beings irrationally splitting the difference, right? Splitting arbitrary hairs in order to justify our existence. That robots don't see things that way, right? That robots only operate on cold logic, and that humans are inherently illogical, and that as a result of that, they gotta go. So of course, that's what leads to Ultron attacking, right? Just becoming a villain. Now, this is also because of the fact that Hank Pym tried to destroy him. And that's where a lot of the anger initially in the old school Ultron stories came from. But that's where this and some of the stories before really began to expand and build on that. Because when Hank Pym finally regains himself, he just kind of takes off, right? Like, what have I become? Like, what am I now? And so this is why this story is particularly important, specifically with regards to West Coast Avengers, because where the Avengers are just kind of left holding a funeral for Hank Pym, that he more or less seems to have been lost. There is a eulogy given by Janet Van Dyne where she kind of talks about how Hank Pym's life was just a life of suffering, and that in a lot of ways, he ended up building something he didn't understand, and that the Rage of Ultron wasn't really the intention of Hank, but it was an unavoidable result of what Hank had created due to all of his mental instability, that Ultron himself and Hank Pym kind of merged into one being, are just floating out there in space, trying to consolidate themselves and trying to understand who's in control of what. And so in the West Coast Avengers story that we covered, where it talked about how you have a version of Ultron who is literally joining the Avengers, that's where that came from, right? That whole scene where like Ultron splits himself into like various forms, and each form has its own idea on how to basically win, quote unquote. That's where this comes from, this moment right here. So with that being said, guys, we're gonna bring this to an end. It is kind of cool, right? I mean, you literally have an Ultron with a heart inside of him, like a heartbeat. It's kind of wild. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. Let me know if you want me to cover or remaster Age of Ultron, rather, and I will catch you all later. Peace.
All right, let's get this workout.
Let's crush it.
Co-pilot, how's my squat looking?
I'd suggest keeping your core tight.
Now I feel it. Only deadlifts and lunges left, right?
Don't forget about the planks.
I was trying to forget about those planks.
Not on my watch.
Rainbow Six Siege X. Get free access now.
We failed to stop the calamity.
There are always two sides to a story.
You pissed off the wrong people.
We may be down, but we are not out. We trained all year for this. Now go out there and give me 55%!
Do you promise to love Sophia with 55% of your heart?
I do.
Pour la patrie! 55%!
Yep, PCs powered by Intel can cut performance up to 55% when unplugged. But with Snapdragon X series, max performance when unplugged.
In Puerto Rico, we call ourselves Boricua. We are proud, passionate, and full of life. When you experience our island, you'll find that spirit in yourself. Live Boricua.
What the fuck? What the fuck did this shit go to?
The Rage of Ultron is one of the best.
Jesus fucking Christ. Oh shit, I shouldn't say that right after that shit was on, right? Oh god, let's end the stream.